Hey guys, this is Juan with the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. I'd like you to know that this episode is brought to you by San Marcos Mexican Restaurant located at 2301 Southwest 59th Street in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Experience the best Mexican food in town and even greater customer service. And let Abel know that the Cine-Men Movie Podcast sent you and get 10% off your entire order. And don't forget Hump Day Wednesdays, margarita, house special, $5 or $2 tequila shots. It's the best medicine to get you over that hump day, frozen or on the rocks. Wednesdays, $5 margaritas. It's the only dine-in restaurant of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.
I'll never know.
You like that, old man? You want a piece of me?
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, Bunk?
Good morning, Vietnam! I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
You do? You shoot your eye out, kid.
I answered. And don't call me Shug.
There's no crying in baseball. This is long, bitch. Hey, the Schwartz baby.
I am the father.
At you, my pretty.
Take your stinking paws off me.
May the force be with you.
Here's Johnny. Yeah. Hey, records on my
Happy Monday, moviegoers. Welcome to a new episode. Welcome to Goodfellas, and welcome to the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. I'm your host, Juan, and I am joined by the cast, the crew, the Goodfellas. Zacchaeus?
Do you think I'm funny?
Eduardo?
Hey, you guys.
Guys, what an episode and what a week it has been. It has been a fun week here at the podcast. Enjoying some festivities this week. And, man, how's everybody's weekend been? Zach, you good?
Pretty good. How about you guys?
I've been good. Edward?
Most definitely better than last week.
I'm a little excited, guys, because if you guys have never listened to this episode or any of the episodes for that matter,
You're missing out.
You're missing out. Last week, I want to say thank you to everybody because Top Gun is the most downloaded episode that we've ever had on this podcast in podcast history.
It was because it was without me, huh?
I think it was because of one Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
And one hashtag of Top Gun Maverick. If you guys have not seen Top Gun Maverick, please, by all means, go check it out in the theater.
Do yourself a favor.
Do yourself a favor. I can't recommend it enough. Everybody I've talked to enjoys the movie and enjoys just the overall feeling of the movie. So go back and listen to it in the archives wherever you listen to podcasts at. And then, guys, today's huge. We are having this is our first segment docu-series, I guess, if you will. It was kind of discussed way back in the day, but now it is going to be a 5-part segment on the next 5 weeks. We will be talking to Mike from OKC Soda Company in this episode, and I just think it's going to be a fun episode and filled with a bunch of info. We're also going to be talking about Dead Center, which is a local independent film festival that takes place starting this Thursday, June the 9th. But Zach, what else happens June the 9th?
We are wrapping up our On the Road to Jurassic World Dominion with Fallen Kingdom on the bonus episodes. And then next Monday, we'll be going back to the theater to review Jurassic World Dominion.
It's been a fun few weeks. And then, you know what? We were going to take the rest of the month off as far as bonus episodes go, but that's not going to be the case because June 30th, we're talking the 20th anniversary of Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. But Zach, what does that lead into for the month of July?
July, we're kind of doing a special 20th anniversary bonus episodes, which we'll be talking about Reign of Fire, We Were Soldiers, John Q, and the one Johnny's really looking forward to, Mr. Deeds.
Mr. Deeds turns 20 this year, dude. I can't believe it. You guys know me. I'm a huge Adam Sandler fan, and I can't wait to talk actually any of those movies. I think they're all going to be fun 20th anniversary episodes. Anybody who's anybody could join and hop on those episodes, which they are visually. You can check us out on the YouTube page. You can also check us out. It'll be audio as well. But if you guys want to listen to us the way you always have out here in podcast land, go check us out anywhere you listen to podcasts, whether it be Spotify, Anchor, Podbean, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Deezer, and now thanks to the Prescribed Films Network, Apple Podcasts. You can check us out the day after on Apple Podcasts, thanks to Prescribed Films Network. If you want to go onto their network and just listen to us on there, you can, along with a bunch of other great podcasts. Just go to www.prescribedfilms.com and you can check us out. You can check out the Movie Defenders, Attack of the Killer podcast, all kinds of great podcasts on that network. The social media just got done giving away Licorice Pizza digital copy. Just got done giving away the Batman digital copy. And then our next big girthy giveaway is coming up in the next few months as well. You don't want to miss any of the stuff we give away. It's all free. All you have to do is like, comment, share, and you walk away with some free prizes. The Facebook is facebook.com/the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. You can check out all of the recent watches, physical media on the Instagram, one word, Cine-Men Movie Podcast. And then the Twitter is at Cinnamon405. And you can check out all kinds of posts. You can send us messages all throughout the social media.
I will follow him.
Hey guys, this is Zach with the Cine-Men Movie Podcast here to talk to you about our good friends over at Rodeo Cinema. Rodeo Cinema, Oklahoma City's unique, non-for-profit art house movie theater located in the stockyards of Oklahoma. If you're getting tired of blockbusters, go check them out. They have new releases, independent, art house, and everything in between. They're currently showing the new independent film Montana Story, starring Haley Lou Richardson. Sorry, guys. So go check them out. Rodeo Cinema, 2221 Exchange Avenue, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and tell them that the Cine-Men Movie Podcast sent you.
I love it, I love it, I love it, and where he goes,
All right, guys. We didn't talk movie news last week, but we were gonna bring it up this week, guys. Ed, you don't have to put your 2 cents in because I know how heated you get, but you're more than welcome to. He's undefeated in the courtroom, weighing in at 222 pounds. Juanito Depp walked away $15 million richer. What do you guys think? Proud? Happy? There's a lot of people now who are demanding that Disney go and
Put him back as Jack Sparrow.
not only that, but give him an open apology.
Didn't he say in the whole entire trial that he would not come back as Captain Jack Sparrow?
That's true, but you know Disney, if they throw a lot of money, money talks. But
yeah, that's true.
I'm honestly, I'm just glad that it's over.
Yeah.
I'm honestly tired of hearing about it.
I think that she did win one charge of him doing a bit of defamation.
She gets
towards
$2
her or
million,
something like that.
or she gets $2 million, but then she also has to pay him. But you know what's going to end up happening? She just file for bankruptcy. She won't have to pay him.
I was about to say she's only worth like 2.5 or 3.5 million.
Warner Brothers
anyways.
Warner Brothers has also come out and said that they are going to cut all of her scenes in Aquaman 2.
And release her from a contract.
Yeah, she's no longer going to be in the movie.
Which that was my main opinion. Is like, don't get me wrong, you know, it didn't matter to me mostly. It was just that they literally didn't even investigate. That they just automatically fired him, and you know, like that was the problem in my eyes. You didn't investigate. You just automatically went with what you know. So I'm just like.
But that was a big. But they can use this as an excuse now because they came out and said that she didn't even have any chemistry with Jason Momoa anyway.
Because I mean,
So it was like this was their perfect way of getting rid of her.
yeah, and that's what they've said is oh, no chemistry with Jason Momoa. Yeah, that's BS. Come on now. But on top of that, apparently, there was another charge when I forget the girl's name, when she dated a female a few years ago. There was another charge of domestic violence with her that apparently was dropped.
Right.
But I'm just like, there's a history of this. I'm not saying Depp is fully innocent.
Right.
But, yeah.
So that whole debacle is over. I'm sure you're going to start seeing Johnny Depp get some roles here pretty soon. Because guess what? Everybody likes a good story, and for him to get a role, I'm sure whatever movie he decides to do, tickets are gonna sell like hotcakes. I'm very very sure of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? At the end of the day, they get richer, lawyers get richer, and that's pretty much it. At the end of the day,
Pretty much.
other big news I saw today reported by Paramount. Nev Campbell is not coming back for Scream 6.
Ooh.
She said that the price that they offered, she feels her lore and history with the franchise, she deserves a little bit more. She wasn't happy with the contract or the money, so she's not coming back to Scream 6. Do you guys call it BS, or do you think that there could be more secret hidden layers underneath this?
Probably hidden, but as well as it's kind of more like what did they want her to do versus how much did they want to pay her. To me, I think that's what it comes down to. Which I mean, yes, okay, yeah, you do have history, you do have the lore and all that because you're the central character in this entire thing. But it's kind of like would Jamie Lee Curtis do the same thing? Or if another if another Nightmare on Elm Street came out, would Johnny Depp turn it down because I'm Johnny Depp, and or would he go like, yeah, dude, this is where I got my start, let's go, kind of thing, and just make a cameo appearance, of an older whatever, I mean, it begs the question for that, because sometimes just show us, be like, you know what, I won't do that, but I will make a cameo and I can go for this price, and we're good. What do you feel? Make a counter offer. Keep yourself in there, because then they can just ride out and go from there.
Correct. Zach, do you have any 2 cents?
I mean, if this is a money thing, I mean, I get what they're doing, but at the same time, it's just like, I don't know, let's have a Scream movie without Nev Campbell. I mean, Hayden Panettiere is going to come back. I guess she's going to be the quote unquote legacy character from the other films. And I guess we're going to have a whole new batch of kids, or if some of the kids or the survivors of the newest film are going to come back, I don't know.
Like the twins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously,
We'll see.
Not the new sheriff. She's not coming back.
Right. So those are only the two other subjects I wanted to bring up. The other subject was the Flash test screenings were amazing, I heard, and it's still scheduled for early next year, and they will not remove Ezra Miller from the movie. Now, and they said that so far he is going to remain the Flash, but only time will tell. So the movie is safe. The release date is safe for now, because early test screenings were knock out of the park.
Well, I mean, that's the only thing that kind of starts screwing over DC.
It probably won't do good in Hawaii. I'll tell you that much, though.
Probably not. But I mean, that's one of the main things that screw over DC is, it's kind of like, was it a hot-headed night at, a club or anything like that? Was it just, like what happened? So, I mean...
Well, we explained about it a few weeks ago with what happened.
Well, yeah. No, I'm just saying.
Ezra Miller, the Flash, and drugs don't mix.
Right, but I mean, keep them clean,
Alright guys, don't forget this episode is also brought to you by CDR Electronics. CDR serves the OKC metro area with the best value for your electronics. Don't forget to go check them out. They have great stock of computers, video game systems, Blu-rays, DVDs, and anything in between. It's the only one-stop shop. It's the only place that we also go for our favorite electronics. Again, visit them at their two locations, the South Side 1604 West I-240 Service Road, or North Side 5939 Northwest Expressway in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. CDR Electronics, and let them know that the Cine-Men Movie Podcast sent you. Hey guys, don't forget to check out Friday the 14th podcast this week for Father's Day. It's a special Father's Day edition on Friday the 14th presents UHD. Me and Nick, the 4K bad guy, are going to talk all about Father's Day. So go check us out this Wednesday night, 7 p.m. It's going to be a fun conversation. I've never seen the movie, but the trailer looks pretty amazing, honestly. So go check us out this Wednesday night. Me, Nick, and a special guest. So if you want to know who that special guest is, go ahead and tune in this Wednesday as we talk Father's Day on Friday the 14th presents UHD. What's your favorite scary movie? All right, guys. So let's get ready to get into one of our this is really not the part of the pandemic, pardon the pandemic segment, but I think it's a little fun interview we're gonna have with Crystal. She's gonna join us here momentarily from Dead Center, and I will let her get ready to explain everything to you guys as far as what Dead Center is and how you can go about checking out some of the movies and independent films this week during the Dead Center Film Festival. All right, guys. So we have Crystal joining us now via phone from Dead Center here on the show. Crystal, say hi to everybody.
Hello, everyone. Nice to be here. Festival week.
Long week, I'm sure. Super super busy. But Crystal, let everybody know what you do for Dead Center and kind of what your title is within the company.
Yeah, sure. So I am the director of PR for Dead Center. I've been working with Dead Center. This is my 8th festival and my 5th one, sort of running the PR and marketing operations at large for the festival year round, but specifically for the organization year round, but specifically for the festival, things really ramp up for me once we announce our schedule and we really kind of dive in, and I get to manage all of our media relations and some of our community partnerships and just kind of connecting the community at large with the individual films that we have programmed year over year.
Nice. And I'm sure the pandemic didn't help the last 2 years. Uh, so I'm sure everybody's excited for this year to just get back into it, especially with the way the pandemic has kind of changed everything the last 2 years.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. I mean, on my end, I like to see, we like to have people running around with lanyards around their neck and really kind of figuring out, what film they're going to go to next, grabbing a quick bite to eat at Fuzzy's and then running and getting in line at Harkins. So June for us, it's this early week of June is the start of summer for us. We really get excited to see people running around. So with the pandemic, of course, we lost 2 years of that. Dead Center, for anyone who maybe isn't familiar, we were one of the first festivals to pivot totally online in 2020. Right around the time South by Southwest was, I think it was like the week before, they had to call it and cancel their festival. We had some really quick meetings internally, and by happenstance or a little bit of magic, our festival was able to go virtual. So we were able to knock that out 2 years ago. And then again, last year we did a little bit more in person, but still not really comfortable doing a lot in person in theaters. And so we did a lot of, outdoor screenings at parks, and then really, took it back to drive-in movie theater concept. So we made do with what we could, but really our happy spot is, just being in person and bringing not only 175 films to moviegoers all around the metro and really the world, when we were able to do that with the virtual cinema, but now just really getting back to that in-person festival experience is really where we like to be.
Man, yeah, you said it good. This is a huge kind of make it or break it for a lot of these filmmakers. And how awesome is it to have their movies just like playing at Harkins on some of the biggest screens in the state?
Yeah, it's so funny the feedback that we get from filmmakers all over. I mean, we have filmmakers flying in from all over the world because they want to see their movie in a theater in Oklahoma City I will say, we're still a regional film festival, right? So we have people flying in from, I know some guys I talked to are in London that couldn't make it, but I know we've got filmmakers from Mexico, and I've talked to just people from all over the world who are just super excited to be playing in Oklahoma. They've heard great things, not only about our festival, but about just the people in Oklahoma, and that Oklahoma City is actually a really cool place to host a film festival. So I know, from what I've heard from people, I have one guy returning. This is his 7th Dead Center, and he's driving down from Denver on Thursday to be here for his screening. So I really think people don't really tire of the experience of seeing their movie on a screen, whether it's in Oklahoma City or at one of your larger, more global festivals. So that's really cool.
So how you mentioned that the first week of June is constantly getting ready preparation for you guys. How long really is the preparation for Dead Center? Like, is this a process that Monday when it's over, you guys are automatically prepping for the next film festival, or do you guys kind of have an off season?
Oh wow, yeah. So we've already got spreadsheets and lists for next year, right? So we're already kind of like, oh, that's a great idea. Can't do it this year. Put it in the hole. Like we're trying to just file it away for next time. So Just to kind of give you an idea. So after last year's festival, on my end, I have to send a recap of, what the attendance numbers look like. We're talking about, for a hybrid festival last year, virtual, like we had people tune in from 42 countries, which is a really cool metric to be able to have in a virtual world. But this year we'll have to kind of start over and recount like how many people are in theaters and all that kind of stuff that I think is super interesting. So all that kind of starts immediately after a festival. And then going into fall, our filmmakers will announce when the deadline's going to be for submissions in the following spring. So let's say, coming up October, I think, probably like September this year, we'll announce that. And then the submissions will be open up and through probably February or March of next year. And then from March, submissions close, our programmers get to work, and they're just digging through. This year we had almost 2,000 submissions. And a lot of those, as you can imagine, because we were named last year an Oscar qualifying film festival in the shorts category, a lot of those came in the shorts category because people really wanted to position their work for that and go through Dead Center to possibly get to the Oscars, which is pretty cool. So the schedule comes out, and from there they whittle it down to, we've got 175 films out of those almost 2,000 submissions. And the festival schedule comes out at the end of April, early May. And so from there, we've got, 6 or 7 weeks to really just dig in. And I mean, there's so many jobs behind the scenes that just go on. We've got to test audio on films. I'm doing my side with the press stuff and just connecting media with all these filmmakers. And I have one-on-one calls with them, which is a lot of fun for me. Our operations folks are getting volunteers. And so, I mean, it truly is, the festival is kind of a year-round thing for sure, because our programmers have to watch movies that are at Sundance, and they're looking at movies that are at South by. So, they're checking all that out and just watching movies all the time. But then also our organization is a year-round organization too. So you keep in mind that we've got education programming that we do year-round. We're a pretty big part of just the film industry at large that's taken off in the last year in Oklahoma. We're a big part of that. So we get a little bit of a break. I think we all try to ignore each other for a week or two. And then it's like, oh gosh, they're calling me again. So it's time to get back to work. So
Nice. Where do you sign up for that dream job? Watching movies, and man, that sounds,
I know.
it sounds like it could be fun. Zach has a quick
Well, they're
question.
all opportunities. Yeah, they're volunteer opportunities. So keep that in mind.
Hey.
We do have people who sign up for that. So
I will sign up gladly any day of the week.
yeah, I'll let you know.
Good. But Zach also has a question for you as well. Zach, go ahead.
Yeah, with these film festivals, I have the conclusion of what the ultimate goal for the festival is, probably to get as many films out there to the public as you can be seen, especially compared to the big blockbusters that are out during the summertime. But what would you say is the ultimate goal, quote unquote, for the Dead Center Film Festival?
Wow, for our festival?
Yeah.
I was gonna say for our filmmakers, I actually asked them that question too. I mean, like I said, they just love to have people experience their movie. The ultimate goal for our film festival is really to just put on an event that celebrates local predominantly. By and large, that's how the festival started. It was just like a very small film festival that started, 2000, with just like 100 people in attendance screening some Oklahoma-made short films. So definitely Oklahoma local films have always been a really big part of that, but really just celebrating the talent of filmmakers here. And we've been able to see over the past 22 years, this is our 22nd film festival, we've really been able to see over the past 22 years, filmmakers who have gone up from having like one short, okay, and then they come back and they turn that short into a feature. Okay, well, then they're going on to go work on this cool thing or this cool thing. And so really with the way the film industry has grown in Oklahoma, we're super proud to be kind of centric to that. So our biggest goal is just to celebrate movies and film in the community as much as we can, connect people with just like an awesome weekend. Dead Center is always the second full weekend in June. So one year Dead Center was the first weekend in June because that ended up, just by the way the numbers worked, and that was hectic because we didn't get, the week after Memorial Day to kind of go into things. So that was a little stressful. We lost a week essentially is what it felt like. But really, yeah, the second full weekend in June is really where we just kind of put all our eggs in that basket and just go hard with that. So that's kind of our goal, is just to introduce film to as many people as possible. And I think, a lot of people may not understand how much work goes into programming that many films.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to decide film over film, what that looks like and how you're really trying to build a schedule that's gonna resonate with a lot of people. And we have some of the top programmers, I would say. I mean, we get this compliment all the time. I'll just say in the world. I'll just say it. They're just so good.
Yeah.
So that's really our goal. Yeah, is just to connect and to get people interested and just film by film. And then a lot of times festival party or festival panel or networking opportunity over networking opportunity is really kind of how we've grown, very, very incrementally, but very hands-on and homegrown.
And it sounds like from what you just talked about, that you do have a lot of these like independent filmmakers. It reminded me, the way you talked about it was like how Damien Chazelle, he made, when he was in college or right out of college, a Whiplash as like a little independent like short, but then he remade it into a feature-length film that ultimately won an Oscar for J.K. Simmons. So it's kind of something like that. It looks like you've seen in the history of the festival.
Yeah, I mean, that opportunity is there. I actually was with a filmmaker earlier today where we had a reporter from one of the local news stations and was asking him, like, where do you want to go? And he was like, I want to make a feature. I want to do that. He wants to stay in Oklahoma and he just wants to keep growing his craft. And the fact that people can do that here, and stay in Oklahoma and do that is just super, super cool. So yeah, that's how that trajectory looks. If you've got all the things line up and that happens for you, it's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, got kind of a professional / personal question for you. What would be one of your main goals, for that matter, in ever, like, you were to, I don't know, snag, like, this person or that movie, or, like, what would be one of your slight professional and slight personal biggest goals, for that matter?
Okay. Nobody ever asks me, so thank you. No, I'm kidding. I mean, and I've tried, I've pitched national, like the Today Show, I've tried to pitch Dead Center in that regard. So something like that is always the goal. I mean, like I said, we are a regional film festival. We get lots of compliments in person, and then just like, we've won Movie Maker Awards for being like a cool film festival, and a film festival worth the entry fee, and so all that stuff kind of come down. But I mean, what I really want is for our team to get recognized, and ideally, on the Today Show, like I said, or something that's like a larger publication, Hollywood Reporter, for what we're doing, and all of that just takes some kind of maneuvering behind the scenes to really kind of pick the best story and take the best films that are packaged up in a year and really present that. But, that's not my day-to-day goal, but I try it every year. I'm like, hey, we've got this awesome film, and we want you to know that it's playing right, in the dead center of the heartland. Is really, on our website, that explains where the name Dead Center comes from, is that we're this little film festival, Dead Center of the heartland. So one day, we will get Dead Center on one of these national shows. But in the meantime, our local media, they're so good. I bother the heck out of all of them this time of year. I'm just always like, 'tis the season, forgive me. But I mean, I really, as you can tell, probably, I love representing Dead Center. I love talking to media about our filmmakers. It's all because our team is so good. They make my job so easy. So yeah, that's a really great question. Hopefully I'll get to respond with, sending you a clip of what that looks like when we get to that. But really, I'm just happy, day to day, year over year, the way the festival grows is just really, really cool. So I don't think professionally I'm quite ready to manage that inbox. So I stay pretty busy locally. I probably have to have a team if we start cranking stuff out at that level. So.
And it's insane how much Oklahoma has grown over the last 5 to 10 years. Whether it be Martin Scorsese coming here and shooting a movie, or Sylvester Stallone coming here and shooting a TV show. Over the last few years, it's just fun to see how awesome Oklahoma has just so many great landmarks for them to shoot and film at. And from what I've heard, is it's cheaper. They can shoot here and have a suburb city, and then just 20 miles away, they can shoot and have a good countryside for a nice wide shot. So,
Yeah.
um, my last question before we let you go, because I know you're super busy. Let the listeners know where, when, and this weekend, big weekend for you guys starting on Thursday. Where and how can they see some of the movies this weekend? They can just go straight to Harkins, right, and buy tickets at the door, or they can also go to your website.
Yeah, definitely. There's quite a few ways, which we're also very proud of. So people can definitely buy a pass in advance. That's the easiest way to experience the full range of the festival. There's parties, there's networking events, there's industry events. It's just a full 4 days of stuff. So if you really kind of want, like some people call it like a staycation, and they'll just hang out and just hit all the movies, and they have like sunburn, like they're sitting outside, like I said, eating at Fuzzies in between movies and trying to wait and see how long the line is before they have to get in. So it can be a lifestyle if anybody really wants is up for the challenge. So full pass is definitely one way to go. Outside of that, individual tickets are $10 for either a feature film or a short film block. So if you're looking at the schedule, you'll see many short film blocks, and so that's just for listeners. Like obviously your listeners probably know this, but the short film blocks are just kind of packaged up, a sequence of films and within sort of like a certain sort of theme or vibe, and so those are $10 to watch anywhere from 5 to 6, 7, 8 different shorts programs. $10 for a ticket to kind of see that happen. You just have to get in line, and you can buy your ticket based on the availability after the pass holders go in. So that's a really cool way to just kind of experience. If you just look at the festival schedule and say, I just want to go to this one or these 3 things, and just get in line and do that way. We also have free screenings. At Friday night we'll be at Scissortail Park with the Thunder Film screening. This is their 5th year to have a film in our festival, so that'll be free and open to the public at Scissortail Park during their night market, and then after the Thunder Film, it'll be a run of our family-friendly short films. So that's something. There'll be food trucks out there, and that'll be a lot of fun. And then the next day at Wheeler District, in the Wheeler District, we'll be out there, and it's free and open to the public for people to just come out and hang. So we like to kind of have a good mix of paid options within some free events where people can just bring a blanket and bring family or friends and just kind of hang out. But all that information is on our website at deadcenterfilm.org.
Nice. And the festival starts this Thursday, June 9th, and continues all the way to June 12th on Sunday evening, correct?
Yes. Yep.
All right. Well, Crystal, like I said, I know you got a lot of stuff to get back to. Busy week for you guys, but it sounds like at the end of the day, it's going to be all well worth the festivities. I want to say thank you, first of all, with this podcast. Like I said, we've been doing this for 4 years, and we don't take breaks here. We put on a new show every single week. We talk about a different movie, different subject matter, and with us now getting involved with the community the last 4 years with some sponsors, I'm excited to see what maybe we can do for you, or any way in the future.
Yeah, definitely save my number of my email, and now you guys are on our press list, so anything I send out throughout the year will keep you and your listeners involved. So I'm grateful to have connected and appreciate y'all's time and consideration this week.
Nice. Same here. Like I said, thank you so much, Crystal. It's always nice to get someone else's film passion involved and let all the listeners, not only just in Oklahoma, but listeners all throughout the country and downloads that we have. So, again, thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see you guys this weekend. Thank you.
All right, guys. So now it is time for one of our favorite segments. We are talking a top 5. If you have not joined us for any episodes before in the past, Every week we come out, believe it or not, with a brand new top 5 list. And last week we talked about our top 5 theater snacks. The week before was our top 5 barbecue grill items. We also have talked top 5 actor movies. So it's a fun little segment. You guys can also play along by sending us your top 5s of whatever list that we're talking about. This week, unfortunately, we were not scheduled to do Goodfellas, but because of the passing of the late great Ray Liotta, we decided, hey, let's put the Bourne Identity on hold and let's review Goodfellas. And we're also, with that being said, we're talking our top 5 Ray Liotta films. Does anybody have any honorable mentions? Zach, Edward?
Negative.
Yeah, I got 2. I'm pretty sure I've seen this at some point. Operation Dumbo Drop with a hint with Ray Liotta and Danny Glover. And my official honorable mention, Blow.
I'm going to rapid fire through mine. I only have 2. Marriage Story and my official honorable mention. I'll have one more. I'm going to do Operation Dumbo Drop as well, which to me, I believe that that's the first movie I ever seen him in, which obviously is put out by Disney.
Yep.
If you want to see it, I believe it's on Disney Plus.
It is.
And then my official honorable mention, even though he was only in it for a cup of coffee, it's a gangster flick, The Many Saints of Newark. I think he did a fantastic job, and like I said, it's a gangster flick. It can't be a gangster flick if Ray's not in that movie.
5.
Number 5, I'll start off. Or no, Ed, let's start off with you. You didn't have any honorable mentions. Let's go ahead and start off number 5 for you.
Negative, sir. I did not. So, observe and report. It's been once that I've seen this a while back. Kind of funny, you've got Seth Rogen in it, so obviously there's gonna, I don't know, he's gonna bring his type, if you will, I guess. This was what, 09, so around, not too far after like Superbad and different things like that. Before Knocked Up and different comedies such as that, but yeah, observing the report, I thought he didn't do much comedy, but this is definitely the one that like kind of gets you a little bit, So
Number 5 for me, which is a movie that I believe to this day is still kind of an underrated crime drama movie, from 2012, and it gets no love. The Iceman, starring Michael Shannon, Chris Evans, James Franco, Winona Ryder, and Ray Liotta plays Ray DeMio, and he has a fantastic role in this movie. I think he just completely knocks it out as Roy. But again, it's one of those movies that just it's kind of gangsterish crime feeling, but I haven't seen it since the theater release, and I believe I have the Blu-ray, but man, this is I tried to fit it in on a recent watch, and I just couldn't get it in there. But I think I'm going to try to watch it and talk about it on the next recent watch, maybe. The Iceman from 2012. I recommend it. It's number 5, and I know this episode is a little kind of all over the place because we still have to talk about some recent watches. But that's going to be number 5 for me is the Iceman from 2012. Zach, what about you? Number 5 for you?
Number 5, I got to preface to say I haven't seen the entirety of the series, but from what I've seen of it, I really enjoyed and kind of actually curious to go back and rewatch it in its full, all the episodes. Number 5, I'm going to put Shades of Blue, the TV show he did with the lovely Jennifer Lopez. He plays Matt Wozniak. Basically, it was commanding officer for Jennifer Lopez. He's corrupt, and basically the whole series is Jennifer Lopez gets caught up in the FBI, and she's tagged to try and take him out, basically. So it is kind of I think it's probably a little predictable, but from what I've seen of it, I really enjoyed.
Nice.
4.
Number 4, Ed, what's your 4th favorite Ray Liotta film?
From 92, Unlawful Entry. So pretty much it's a corrupt cop that becomes obsessed, or I'm sorry. It's a corrupt cop that goes on a call basically to this couple's home and pretty much just kind of becomes obsessed to the overpoint with the wife. You know what I mean? And it I don't know the difference between like him and Kurt Russell was I thought very well done. Um, it just felt sometimes uneasy, sometimes scary, sometimes just strange, you know? So, yeah.
Number 4 for me is going to be Killing Them Softly, starring Brad Pitt. Richard Jenkins is also in there, and Scoot McNairy. Ray Liotta plays Marky Trapman, and this dude is kind of like just snakish throughout the whole movie. But there's a scene I gotta say where Ray Liotta gets his tush, he gets his ass kicked pretty bad, and man, I think he just does it so good in this one scene. It's raining, and the two henchmen are just beating the holy dog crap out of him. Hits him so hard in the stomach. Ray Liotta just starts barfing all over, falls down in the rain, and you just feel so bad for the character. But Ray Liotta just does it so good. And looking back at this guy's filmography and he's done so many movies, over 120 feature films. Um, it was kind of hard to just pick five. But I think he's an actor who, to this day, we're going to talk about it deeper in the episode. But if I could say, out of all the movies that I have listed on my list, this would be the most underrated performance. Again, some of the movies he's not in there a lot, but still he's in there. So, yeah, that's my number 5. So that's my number 4 is Killing Them Softly. Zach, who's your number 4?
Number 4 is going to be a sequel to a very classic film, Hannibal, directed by Ridley Scott, the great Anthony Hopkins, Julianne Moore, Gary Oldman, and Ray Liotta. Ray Liotta plays Paul Cridler. I'll admit it's been a while since I've seen this movie, but from what I remember of it, I thought he was good in it. And let's just say the ending is not what you're expecting. So
It's the famous scene where he's sitting there talking with his head split open.
Yeah, and I don't want to spoil the rest, but yeah.
But now we're taking a break, guys, from the top 5. We're at number 4 right now, so we still have our top 3 to go. But we're going to be taking a call, and now we are starting the segment, Pardon the Pandemic. And what better way to kick it off than with Mike from OKC Soda? So again, everybody, thank you for joining us. We're taking a break from the top 5 right quick. We're getting into the new segment, Pardon the Pandemic. Over the next 5 weeks, we're going to be going over and talking to each one of the sponsors. And what better way to kick it off than with Mike from OKC Soda today? Mike, how you doing?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Real good, buddy. Long time in the making, man. This is something that I've wanted to do for a long time. And the pandemic didn't help any, but I think over the phone it would be a fun little conversation. Um,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
so history wise, man, how did OKC Soda come to be, and kind of what's your history with the product and the brand?
Well, actually, it started with 3 guys from the Bricktown Brewery. We all worked at the downtown Bricktown Brewery. I was the manager. My 2 partners were brewers. And we received a project to work on some alcoholic soda. And through the process, we just realized that we were good at making soda and that if we marketed it correctly, we think that we have a winner. So we just basically decided to go full steam. And in 2018, we did it.
Nice. Do you guys still kind of flirt around with alcoholic beverages? Just in case some of the listeners may not know.
Well, OKC Soda does not, but the beverage house that we have created does. Absolutely. Yeah, we make kegged and canned cocktails, and we also make beer. So absolutely.
Real nice, real nice. Um, how did the pandemic kind of affect business and other relationships with maybe like vendors, customers? I know, I think the last time I talked to you, or the first time that we actually started a relationship, I think you guys had just almost opened up the location on Memorial.
That's correct.
And
When you and I spoke, Yes,
And the
but
the, the pandemic, you said, kind of took a little effect on that store.
oh yeah, bro, for sure. I mean, the pandemic affected. When you talk about vendors and customers, it definitely affected the aluminum can supply. I mean, it was brutal during the pandemic to get a lot of the raw materials that we use in all of our beverages, especially cans and cardboard went up. And I mean, the pandemic has just been, it's affected multiple facets of our manufacturing process. But also, personally, yeah, I mean, I don't know if I told you this one, but we actually just shut down our Memorial location
Oh no.
a few weeks. Yeah, a few weeks ago. That's what I'm saying. The pandemic has been terrible to us. So personally and professionally, it's been brutal. But ironically, we're doing very well as a soda company as far as getting our brand out there. We've got into Crest now, so we're into Homeland, Crest, Uptown Grocery. We just got into Reese's, all the Reese's in Tulsa. So like we're growing as a brand, but yeah, the pandemic, bro, was terrible to us.
Um. So yeah, that kind of answered my other question about how the pandemic kind of ruined any future plans. But now that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, man, the endemic has technically kind of started. Um.
Yes,
What are
yes.
your some of your other passions, and what's something else that you might want to pursue in the future?
Well, like I said, the soda company's doing really well right now. It's allowing us to be able to focus on some of our other passions, like I was alluding to earlier. Other beverages we're now making, alcoholic beverages, beer. We're also doing coffee and teas and lemonades, and we're about to start that type of beverage making as well. So that would end. I mean, to be honest with you, those are our passions. Full beverage house.
Nice. And yeah, like you said, you guys are available in more grocers now than ever before. We've had some listeners comment on social media, emails. I've had a few call-ins. It is now easier to find you guys more than ever. Whether it be the six pack of singular flavors, or is there also a six pack out there that has multiple flavors in there as well?
Well, obviously, we're at the farmers market every Saturday morning, and we sell our variety pack, which is one of each of our six core flavors there, and it's a huge hit. Like that's what I'll be honest with you, about 75% of our sales at the farmers market at Scissortail Park are that mixed variety pack. So I informed our distributor in DC, which is Republic, that we would like to come out with like a mixed six pack of one of all of our flavors, and they have agreed. And so, not too long, I would say maybe about 2 months from now, on the shelves of all these grocery stores, you'll be able to get a variety pack of OKC soda, which we are pretty excited about.
Nice.
Nice.
Um, So other than that, what kind of do you guys have any like other future events that you want to talk about that you guys might be available here for? Like I know sometimes you guys do a lot of stuff out at Scissortail Park, but are you guys interested, or have you ever done any like food truck events or anything?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely interested in that kind of stuff. We've done a couple of bicycle races. We want to do a lot of festivals. We did the night market festival down there in Scissortail. Like, we're always interested in expanding our reach into the community, especially into the more, centrally OKC soda or OKC area, like downtown, midtown, stuff like that. We're into that for sure. I mean, we're always on the lookout for those type of events.
I know the Instagram page had plugged me in on Dead Center, and we actually just got done with an interview with Crystal from Dead Center, which is going to be taking place this weekend. Um,
Yeah, how'd that go?
it went really, really well.
Sweet,
Yeah,
sweet.
and I think maybe I'm still trying to get all of maybe some of the different sponsors to where like, hey, maybe there can be some OKC soda sold in a San Marcos restaurant, or maybe you guys can go and invade Dead Center this weekend, or have you guys? There's also like the local movie theater that we're into, Rodeo Cinema. I know Rodeo Cinema sells and has like a lot of like local beer that they sell. I don't know if maybe they would be interested in doing local soda as well. I think that'd be a pretty fun hit.
Yeah, I totally agree. In fact, I'll be honest with you, movie theaters are something we're really into. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to be associated with you in a podcast like this because I'm a big movie guy, and our root beer is on tap at Flick's Brew House.
Nice.
You know,
Nice. Nice.
yeah, it's pretty cool. So like we're really into the whole movie thing for sure. Like we love music and film, and like that's part of our culture and how we developed our branding and just developed our image. And so we're big fans of movies for sure, for sure.
And then we've had some fun emails and calls, and I'm gonna ask for one of them, but they're kind of funny, but I think it would be cool. Is it possible that there could be a cinnamon flavored soda in the future?
Well, it would not be hard. Let's put it that way. We could do something really awesome like that. That would be, hey, and we're talking some co-branding on there too, right? Have
There,
like a really cool custom label.
hey, yeah, there you go, man.
That's awesome.
All proceeds go to OKC Soda. You need a you need
Well,
a
I like that. I like that. That's great.
you need a logo, man. Just let me know. I just want the logo and the flavor. Maybe like a cinnamon spiced soda or something.
Well, how about we do something maybe with cinnamon in it this winter, like a Christmassy cinnamon, something
Uh,
like that. How about that?
that's that sounds like a nice winter. Winter is coming for
Yeah.
sure, right?
Oh, Wednesday. Oh, you're a Game of Thrones fan.
There we go.
That might be even a good beer for that
Yeah, there you go. Now you're talking.
But man, we got you here. What can we do to help? Can we join events? Can the listeners join events? What's the fastest way for some of these listeners to find you guys on the social media? We plug you guys every single week. We talk about you and how your soda has all different kinds of cool flavors: strawberry milkshake, orange cream soda, the root beer, the blueberry acai, uh, the lemon lime soda. So, what's the fastest way that listeners can find you guys on the social media?
Instagram. Instagram for sure. That's kind of our. We're not huge social media people. Like I'll be honest with you. I mean, we're three dudes that run this company, and so like I've been doing social, and then my wife, luckily, thank God, kind of stepped in and helped take it over. But so like all the cool stuff you've been seeing recently on Instagram is all her. But I mean, I got to be honest with you. Instagram is the way to go for us. We are getting a Facebook page. Like we want to take Facebook in a different direction, so we're really trying to work on that before we put it out there. And then, of course, maybe this isn't necessarily social media, but the best way, to help us out is just to go to these grocery stores and buy the soda. Because if you buy this soda in the grocery stores, it allows my distributor to track those sales and be like, okay, these guys really have a good brand. And then they can try to put me in all these other places like convenience stores and stuff like that. So you guys want to help me out, go to the grocery stores and buy the soda. That's how we get paid.
Well, boy, when this microphone shuts off, I have some news for you. Let's talk about the movie right quick. Goodfellas. We were not gonna do this movie today, believe it or not, is the 20th anniversary of the Bourne Identity. That's what we were gonna do today, but unfortunately, with the passing of Ray Liotta, we were like, hey, let's talk Goodfellas. Um,
Yeah.
you said you're a huge Goodfellas fan. This is the reason that we started off with OKC Soda. What is it about Goodfellas, man? It grabs you from the beginning with the music. He says it from the get go. Always wanted to be a gangster.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so many facets to Goodfellas and what you can critique and talk about. So like, there's no way that we could do in this conversation it justice. However, there's certain things that you can focus on. Like, I mean, the cinematography is some of the best cinematography in. I mean, like, look at some of those shots. Like Scorsese is just a genius on how he draws those up. But the wardrobe, the music, and not just the music, but the audio. Like if you watch Goodfellas and listen to how he increases and decreases the level of the music and then increases the narrator. So like just the design on the audio is crazy good, and how he transitions from scene to scene with that audio is amazing. I mean, don't forget about the fact that some of the best dialogue in movie history is in that movie. So there's so many facets to it. Like, what do you want to concentrate on in this discussion of Goodfellas?
Man, in this discussion with you, honestly, with Goodfellas, I think it's important to talk about the dialogue and how the
Yep.
dialogue is not wasted. Whether it's Joe Pesci talking about the guy serving him drinks, and he shoots him in the foot, and then the scene that
Spider.
exactly the comeback scene where he tells Joe, hey, go fuck off, and it's just, man, Joe Pesci. That's honestly who I would want to focus on. I think Joe
Yeah.
Pesci is one of the most underrated actors in cinema history. I don't think his movies or his performances get talked about enough. And what do you think about Joe Pesci?
I love Joe Pesci in all of Martin Scorsese movies. That's for sure. I mean, Mean Streets, he was awesome. He fucking Raging Bull, he was awesome.
Mm.
Like Pesci just knows Scorsese, and Scorsese knows Pesci. But if you want to talk about like some amazing talk in Goodfellas with Pesci, the scene where they're sitting in the car waiting for that restaurant to catch fire. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
When he's like, this Jew broad, Diane. And Henry Hill's like, what? What are you talking about? And they're trying to bang this broad for a month. Only problem, she won't go with Italians alone. And he's like, what? No. And he's like, what? I haven't even asked you anything. I mean, that dialogue is killer. I mean, I feel like I'm cursing profanely over here, but like, I don't want to do the whole scene, but I'm telling you, man, like that is a fantastic scene. And like you said, dialogue with Joe Pesci, you got it right there.
Man, yeah, the dialogue definitely is one of those things that just is overwhelmingly finessed. I mean, honestly, it just goes so well. Joe Pesci apparently knows. We'll just say people on the streets for that matter. So he kind of falls into those roles apparently pretty well as Robert De Niro and then Ray Liotta does their roles exquisitely as well. Which, so I've heard a couple of interviews with the one that they pass over kind of Michael Fascizi or something like that. He's an actual mobster, but the guy actually was around like Henry Hill and people like that. Which I've also heard they went to Joe Pesci was calling Henry Hill like 3, 4, 5 times a day, asking him like, "Hey man, am I doing this right? How did he put his ketchup on his hamburger or hot dog, or how did he take a drag from his cigarette? How did he walk? How did he talk? How did he comb his hair? Kind of stuff like that." And apparently, when Henry Hill actually watched the movie, he said that Joe Pesci was like 90 or like more than 90% on mark with the character. He said some of the little ad libs were great and it was a little bit of exaggeration, but like he said 90% is like I was watching a film about one of the guys like I was around for that matter for a long time. So I mean, any other films like Goodfellas, I mean, of course you've got The Godfather, of course, like you said, Mean Streets and different stuff like that. But any other film other than Goodfellas, would you say like just has that same kind of niche quality for that matter? And I mean just that really, really good quality that you would be like, you know what? I'm watching this tonight, gonna let Goodfellas rest. Any film like that you would say?
I mean, let's not go away from the genius of Scorsese.
Oh no, 100%.
Goodfellas is such a masterpiece that like it's hard to equate that. I mean, obviously, Francis Ford Coppola, The Godfather 1 and 2 are just like unbelievable landmark movies, but they're totally different. But I don't think, especially in the mafioso type genre, I don't think anybody can top Goodfellas. I just don't think so. Now, I'll be honest with you, he might have done it himself by with The Departed. I mean, The Departed is an amazing movie.
Yeah.
But I still don't think it's as good as Goodfellas, just because of the wardrobes and the sets and the cars and the cinema. I mean, everything is so good in Goodfellas. It's like it is a masterpiece, and it's like him at his finest. And he would have won Best Director and Best Picture that year, except for it was going up against Dances with the Wolves, which we all know. I mean, I'll be honest with you, Dances with the Wolves is a great movie, so kind of deserved to win. But like, dude, that's the only reason it didn't win Best Director and Best Picture for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I even think on a good day, I would certainly argue that Goodfellas may be better than Dances with Wolves.
Oh yeah.
I would. In fact, in time, it's already becoming clear that that's a much better achievement in film as a director and as a picture than Dances with Wolves. Even though Dances with Wolves is a great movie, it is a great movie, and Kevin Costner freaking killed it on that movie. But in time, it's already kind of clearly obvious that Scorsese was just like at the top of his game, and you can't even argue that. You know,
Well, I mean, it's not like you're kicking a great film down with a crap film. Like, this is another great film, I mean, yeah.
Right.
Do you think that Martin Scorsese was able to recapture some of that in The Irishman?
The Irishman was good. I liked The Irishman. I really did. It was a great movie.
It's 3.5 hours. I get it.
Yeah, I'm down with long movies, but at the same time, I don't feel like it had the oomph that Goodfellas did. It didn't have the pace. Goodfellas is a quick movie at times, very quick, and The Irishman took its time to develop. Even though I still think it was The Irishman is a fantastic movie, and I mean, dude, everybody did great in that movie. I mean, there's a huge cast in that movie, and they all did really good. But
yeah,
I just don't think I don't think it had the fire that Goodfellas had. You know what I mean?
I think the difference between them is that Goodfellas is doomed based on too much aspiration to be in that world of the mafia, and The Irishman, its downfall is emotional. Ultimately, what Robert De Niro has to do by the end of the film, it kills him ultimately. So.
Yeah, that's a very good way to look at The Irishman for sure, and the difference between that and Goodfellas. I mean, you're right. The Goodfellas was more about the life of living in the mafia, crew, and The Irishman was more about a person that lived that lifestyle, but the movie focused on his personal life and his feelings, and we didn't have too much of that in Goodfellas, even though it's about Henry Hill. I mean, it is a biopic basically of Henry Hill, but just the way that the lifestyle of the mafia was portrayed in that movie, it made it not about one person. It made it about this whole gang and all this action. And so you're right. You're absolutely right on that. That's exactly what The Irishman did.
If we could we'll name a few scenes before we let you go. How many, or if not, can you boil it down to one, or would you name off a few handful of maybe some of your favorite scenes from Goodfellas?
Well, one of my favorite scenes cinematically would be the wedding, and the difference between the Jewish wedding and the Italian wedding. And like, if you watch the camera at the Italian wedding, and this is what I was alluding to earlier with how he interacts with his audio and how the levels of each character's audio are raised and lowered to match the cinematography. If you watch it, he's just going down and you're hearing all these conversations between all these people at one time, and it's just such a great piece of film work. I encourage you to watch that. You literally watch Martin Scorsese's mom going, he's a nice girl, he's settling down, and you're still bouncing from girl to girl. And then, but the camera doesn't stop on her when she's saying that. It just is just passing by her. And then, it just goes to the next person that is having a conversation. And, like, it's just such a beautiful piece of film work. Like, so the wedding scene is really good. Obviously, I mean, I don't want to be too, Captain Obvious here, but the scene in the club when the guys are like, having and what's funny about me, what am I, a clown? I'm here to amuse you. I'm here to make you laugh. I mean, that scene is classic. So yeah, I know it's a little obvious to say that, but it is a great scene. So that's one of my favorites, of course, too. And obviously, I'm sure you guys know that a lot of that was improv by Joe Pesci.
That's actually one thing I was about to touch on.
Yep. And so I was going to say earlier when you were talking about Joe Pesci in the dialogue, he improv a whole bunch of that scene. A lot of it, like 50% of it or something.
Apparently, he actually had that happen with a waiter and seen that another person, I guess, one of these quote unquote street guys had actually said that line, and he was telling Martin and a couple of the other actors about it, and Martin was like, dude, gotta use it. He's like, only you and I know about this, so it's gonna be even better. So most of the reactions on the other cast members' faces is pretty dang genuine. So that makes it that much better right there.
I know, dude. That's what I mean. Like, it is so realistic and just so perfect of a scene that, I mean, it'll always go down as one of the most classic Goodfellas scenes ever.
Oh yeah.
Let's see I don't know. Another one of my favorite scenes. I mean, clearly when he first goes from boy to man, you know what I'm talking about? Yep, like right when he say, "Oh, you popped your cherry," like right when he goes from boy to man is really, really cool because like now you're completely transported to another time, but it still has that exciting vibe, and we're still so early in the movie that you're hungry for more. You know what I mean? Like now you're like, what is gonna go on now? And so like that transition from time period to time period, I just feel like it was pretty genius of Scorsese.
Oh yeah.
Scorsese is one of the best, man. How I think it's obvious. 1 out of 10. How many stars would you give Goodfellas?
I'd be a 10. There's no doubt about it. There's nothing. There's nothing in that movie that would drop it a number. There's nothing that. There's no scene in that movie. There's no time in that movie that I'm like, let's see this part. You know what I mean? Like I just don't do that in Goodfellas. It's just
a good time.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, 10 stars for you. You guys can check out Goodfellas on HBO Max if you don't have the physical media copy. You can also rent it on Vudu, YouTube TV, $3.99. But HBO Max it up. It's the easiest, cheapest way to go if you don't have the disc. Mike, is there anything else you want to add to the listeners before we let you go?
No, man, I'll be honest with you. This was really, really fun. I love talking about great film. I really do. And, of course, I love talking about OKC soda, so that's always good. But, hey, Juan, this is great. Let's do this again.
For sure, man. And I think, we have a bonus episodes over on Thursdays that we can do over over like a camera. And maybe we can get you on the YouTube channel as well, and you can talk a whole movie one day with us.
That sounds like a plan, dude. Let's do it.
So, Mike, from everybody at the Cine-Men Movie Podcast, man, I want to say thank you for the last few years, sharing everything back and forth. Now we can finally get on from the pandemic, but to be the first guest on this 5-part series of Pardon My Pandemic, locally here in Oklahoma City, I want to say thank you for everything that you guys are doing here locally for the community, for the beverages, the drinkers out there, the soda drinkers, man. You guys have changed the game locally here, and I can't wait to see where you go and maybe where we go from here.
Dude, love to hear that. I really appreciate you, Juan. We'll talk soon for sure.
H. 3.
All right, so let's get back to the top 5. Again, a huge thanks from Mike with OKC Soda Company. Again, one of our sponsors, 1 out of 4 series that we're going to be going to. Next week, guys, we're going to be talking to Andrew with One Great CDR Electronics. He's going to go check out Jurassic World Dominion, and we're going to talk about some dinosaurs, and we're going to talk about Andrew, and we're going to shine the light on another great sponsor with
Spared no expense.
with CDR Electronics next Monday on the Cine-Men movie podcast. Number 3, Edward, your favorite Ray Liotta film.
It's kind of a corny-ish movie, but filled of dreams, man. You know,
Hold on, I'm going to jump into that because that's my number 3.
What?
What's so corny about it?
Just a little.
Because Kevin Costner's in it, Ray Liotta's in it.
There's a lot of corn stalks.
It's one of the greatest baseball movies of all time. And you kind of got me hot here.
Why?
It's not. I don't feel like it's corny at all.
Well, but no,
That T-shirt is corny.
What the hell? Okay, but
Well, you know what? Field of Dreams to me, like, I watched it for the first time, I think 2 years ago.
okay,
It had like a 30th anniversary, came out a few years, and
Yeah.
I had never seen it before then. I watched it, and I thought it was a pretty amazing movie.
yeah, definitely,
So-
no, 100%. And I mean, obviously, you've got the iconic line, that gets so Mandela affected, it's not even funny. What is that line? What do you think it is?
Build it and they will come.
No, you're wrong.
Build
If
it.
you build it, he will
Oh,
come.
he will come.
Yes. So I mean, don't wrong. Those little things right there, and actually,
Who's
the-
he?
Exactly. No, actually, the Field of Dreams real stadium is still in Iowa, and you can go there.
Oh yeah,
and
I think
chill
I think a
and,
few
yeah,
years ago the Yankees played there.
probably.
Yeah, they had a national televised game there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't follow
So-
baseball, so I don't know.
Neither do I, but you know what? I follow my movies, so I
Okay.
found out about it.
But you
Uh,
can actually rent it too, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Live from Field of Dreams, the Cinema Movie Podcast. Let's make it happen.
An episode would probably be like $300 or $500, so I'm good
That's
on
fine.
that.
So Field of Dreams number 3 for us. Zach, number 3 for you.
Number 3 was one of your honorable mentions, Johnny. Marriage Story. Ray Liotta's only in the movie for maybe 20 minutes at max.
He's ruthless though,
He is,
and his dialogue with Adam Driver
is excellent.
is phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean he kind of got the shaft with all the other great performances with Scarlett Johansson, Adam Driver, and Laura Dern. But when he's on screen, he definitely performs and he grabs your attention.
A lot of people are like, Ray Liotta, who's that? He's only in Goodfellas. No, he does a lot of other good movies. And if you want to do some quick homework, it's on Netflix. Go check out Marriage Story. Just look at his scenes, and you'll see how phenomenal the dude can just deliver dialogue off the roll of his tongue with Adam Driver. Phenomenal. So Zach, number 3 for you, Marriage Story. Yep.
2,
Number 2, Edward, your favorite second Ray Liotta film?
Numero dos is basically, when you think of Ray Liotta, you think mainly one movie. You know what I mean?
Not me.
No? Which ones do you think?
I got 5 or 6 or 7 that I'm talking here about right now.
Well, another one that probably not everybody thinks of is Hannibal.
That was my number 4.
Zach thought about it.
Well,
Yeah,
I said not everybody. You're not everybody. You're Zach.
yeah, it's true.
Zacchaeus.
And we got the Zach's facts.
Zacchaeus.
So, you know what I mean? But no,
You know who Zacchaeus is, don't you?
Oh yeah.
Paul Krindler plays Paul Krindler. Kind of basically a person opposing. Clarice. But yeah, it's kind of crazy how he goes and kind of tries to, in a matter of sense, dethrone her in ways.
Oh, he gets his.
Yeah, no, 100%, yeah. But I mean, yeah, so, that's kind of not one that everybody thinks of, but yeah, Hannibal from 01.
Number 2 is going to be from 1997 for me. Copland. Sylvester Stallone, Harvey Keitel, Robert De Niro, the great Ray Liotta. He plays Gary Figgis, directed by James Mangold. You talk about a rated R, hard-hitting cop field, dirty cop drama. Copland is just, honestly, I think, another underrated film. and I think one day it'd be fun to get into. So I don't want to get too much into it. But yeah, Copland from 1997. I think it's a fun film, and I think one day we should talk about it. Sylvester Stallone, Ray Liotta. Zach, number 2 for you.
Number 2, one that I think is a very underrated film from this year, probably just because just not a lot of people heard about it or even saw it, from 2013. The Place Beyond the Pines. Ryan Gosling, Bradley Cooper, Eva Mendes, Ray Liotta, Mahershala Ali's in it. A great, great, gritty indie drama. It is 2.5 hours long. You would think that's not really going to be for you at the time for the girth, but if you get into the story and all the characters, it's a very just revolving just plot that you really want to know how it all ends. So
Number 2, Place Beyond the Pines.
1,
All right, number 1. Again, we are talking our top 5 Ray Liotta films. You guys can send us in your top 5 list. CINEMEN921@gmail.com.
is everyone going to have the same number 1? Out of curiosity.
Edward has that rule, remember, so he probably won't.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Edward, what's your number 1
Rules
favorite?
are meant to be broken, sir. Okay, every now and then there's kind of one of those things. Now, I haven't really watched many Ray Liotta films in specifics for that matter, so I've kind of got a limited list to go by. So, yeah. Goodfellas, man. I mean, 19, like, this is one of those films that
We're going to get into
we'll
it.
get
just
into
like
it.
Mike said, it's just genius. It's,
Number 1 for you? Number 1 for me is Goodfellas.
Number 1 for me is Goodfellas.
And now we got some facts by Zach.
Oh yeah. So number 1, according to Ray Liotta, Martin Scorsese was so involved in every detail of the cast wardrobe that he tied Ray Liotta's tie himself to make sure it was accurate for the film's setting. According to Henry Hill, whose life is the basis for the book and the film, Joe Pesci's portrayal of Tommy DeSimone was 90 to 99% accurate, with one notable exception: the real Tommy DeSimone was massively built. The studio was initially very nervous about the film due to its extreme violence and language. The film had a reportedly released worst preview response in the studio's history. Scorsese said that, quote, "The numbers were so low it was funny." And Martin Scorsese saw this as the third film in an unplanned trilogy of films that examined the lives of Italian Americans from slightly different angles.
Interesting. Some interesting facts, Zach's. All right, guys, don't forget that this episode is also sponsored by Red and Blues Pizza. Check them out at 4500 South May Avenue right here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Get you a pizza to go, 405-602-2838. They have all kind of deals. The family deal for $18. The pizza and calzone for $20. The jumbo deal, 2 large unlimited toppings, 12 wings, and a 2-liter soda for $30. 2 large pizzas, unlimited, 4 specialty, $20. It's amazing. They also use delivery with Uber Eats and Slice. So check them out. They're open Sunday through Saturday. These guys don't take a day off, all right? They're going to deliver you some hot pie anytime you want. Red and Blues Pizza, 405-602-2838. And let Myra know that the Cine-Men Movie Podcast sent you.
And the sexy lady next to you come too, and then they hit me.
So, all right, guys. Before we get into the movie, let's knock out some recent watches. Before we get into the actual film, usually we do this at the beginning of the episode, but we switch it up a little bit so we can talk to Crystal from Dead Center. Ed, do you want to start off? Do you have anything that you want to get off your chest? You watch anything this week?
Yeah, man. So I am actually starting with The Spouse, a little watch for all 9 Star Wars films. So yeah, she has not seen them. So we have already done A New Hope as well as Empire Strikes Back. So there is that. I did watch The Amazing Spider-Man, Goodfellas, of course. Can't go without that. And then on top of that, knocked out Stranger Things, knocked out Shorzy, knocked out Kenobi. So, well, up to date at least. I'm sorry. So there are those 3 things as well. So yeah.
And how awesome was, we'll all get into it and touch on it a little bit. Kenobi this week was much better than the first 2 episodes.
Story building, you know.
Yeah, if that's what you want to call it for the first 2. But I think the 3rd episode was just a whole much, better breath of fresh air.
Different class.
Give or take, it really makes you kind of cheer. I kind of cheered a little bit for Vader in this final fight, which
Of
I
course
thought
you
was
did.
which was done beautifully. I did not like the news that broke after episode 3 was released that they're thinking about doing a season 2. When this started, it was miniseries.
One off.
Right. Kind of like those conversations. It was kind of just a quick miniseries, one and done. But now it's like, let's cash grab this some more. Let's try to put a season 2 into it. So I'm not very happy about that. But Zach, what did you think of episode 3?
I mean, yeah, like you said, just echoing your thoughts, I thought it was a much better action-packed episode. Yeah, the end sequence with Vader and Obi-Wan was really emotionally well written, to be honest. It was cool that they got James Earl Jones to come back and do the voice again. And I mean, that made me interested in the next episode, so at least it did its job.
Zach, you check anything else out?
Yeah, I went back to the theater and saw Top Gun Maverick again. Fucking phenomenal movie, dude. Like, it was just one of those movies I walked out and it's a perfect film. I can't find anything wrong with it, to be honest. I mean, the performances on this rewatch, I noticed the score. The score was beautifully well done, especially with the very emotional scenes. And
Miles Teller knocked that out of the park.
Yes,
You can't deny that.
Yes, he did. Finished Stranger Things 4 up to date until the next 2 episodes in July.
Yes, sir.
And I finished up the new season of My Guest Needs No Introduction with David Letterman. His guests include Billie Eilish, Will Smith, Ryan Reynolds, Cardi B, Kevin Durant, and Julie Louis-Dreyfus. The Billie Eilish episode, Ed, I know you're kind of no. Just if you like this kind of interview type stuff, I highly recommend it, especially since it's David Letterman.
And that's on Netflix, right?
Yeah.
I went through and checked out some fun movies this week. Again, you guys can check out all the recent watches on the Instagram page, one word, Cine-Men Movie Podcast. Checked out Smokin' Aces, another Ray Liotta film. I also checked out Jurassic World for the bonus episode, which you guys can go back and listen to. I checked out Obi-Wan Kenobi, of course. Rewatched Philadelphia as I'm starting to dig into the early years of Denzel before our episode this winter. Infinite with Mark Wahlberg, directed by
Antoine Fuqua.
Which, I watched this movie when it first hit Paramount Plus, and I was kind of like, or not Paramount Plus, but
It was right.
Paramount, okay. And I was kind of like, it's not too bad, but I don't know if I'd ever want to watch it again. Doing the rewatch for this last time, you know what it reminded me of? Was it kind of reminded me of if I can say this right, poor man's Matrix. Kind of like how he remembers another life, and he has to go through and remember that life in order to because he thinks he's got schizophrenia. And, thinking about it this past recent watch, I was like, you know what? It's not honestly that bad, but it's not great either. I gave it a 6. But you know what is great? Zach, I don't know if you, or Edward, I don't know if you guys have seen this. The Machinist?
I haven't seen it.
Oh my God. Amazing. If you like Christopher Nolan movies, stuff like Shutter Island, or stuff like You Don't Know If He's Awake or If He's Asleep, or another example, Fight Club. If you guys like movies like that you really can't have, you have a hard time with the ending, or it takes you on a wild ride. It's not directed by Christopher Nolan, but Christian Bale, The Machinist. I'm in the middle of the documentary right now. It's like a 40-minute documentary that's on the special features. Pretty fun movie. Highly recommend it. Also checked out Goodfellas, of course, for this episode. And then, watched a little wrestling last night. Checked out Hell in a Cell.
That bruise, though.
Cody Rhodes, man, tore the pec off of his bone, continued with the match, and they said that they weren't even gonna allow him to, but he can't tear it worse than what it is. There's no more damage that he can do to it. The dude went almost 30 minutes. I know spoiler alert, I know it's predetermined, but the sheer guts and physicality that this dude went through inside Hell in a Cell, 30 minutes with one of the best right now, Seth Rollins.
Because, don't get me wrong, yes, it may be predetermined, but you still have to pull those moves out.
Right. But I think, hats off to the guy. If you guys want to go and check it out, it's on Peacock. The Northman also got released on Peacock this week as well. So Peacock is putting out some great content. But yeah, Hell in a Cell was fantastic. I enjoyed this show probably more than I should have. Cody Rhodes goes for surgery on Thursday. He's gonna be out 5 months.
Yeah.
So
huge hit. He
go
got back.
go check it out. It's on Peacock. I recommend that. Also, go check out The Northman. It's on Peacock as well.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
All right, guys, it is time. We are talking Goodfellas, starring the great late Ray Liotta, Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, directed by Martin Scorsese. Writers include Nicholas Pileggi, based off the book Wise Guy. Currently, right now, it sits at an 8.7 on IMDb, 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. The Metascore is at 90%, while the Google users have it at 92%. It was nominated for 6 Oscars with 1 Oscar win. $25 million budget with a $47 million at the box office, with a release date of September 19th, 1990. The story of Henry Hill and his life in the mob, covering his relationship with his wife Karen Hill and his mob partners Jimmy Conway and Tommy DeVito in the Italian crime American syndicate. Guys, this is a 31-year-old film. Do yourself a favor. Go HBO Max it up. Goodfellas. Let's dig into it. But before we do, director talk, Martin Scorsese, he has done some phenomenal films. Zach, you want to name a few?
Yeah, let's talk about a legend in the filmmaking business. To be honest, truthfully, he only has 25 full-length feature films, which given his name and like his pedigree, you would think there'd be a lot more. But I'm just going to run through a lot of these. His first film was in 1967, Who's That Knocking at My Door? It was with Harvey Keitel. It was like a little independent film I haven't seen. But starting in 1973, Mean Streets, 1976, Taxi Driver, 1980, Raging Bull, which is getting a Criterion release next month. So, The King of Comedy, The Color Money, which is him, Tom Cruise, and Paul Newman. 1988, The Last Temptation of Christ. Goodfellas, like obviously, Cape Fear, Casino. And then in 2002, he really kind of had the resurgence when he started doing films with Leonardo DiCaprio with Gangs of New York, The Aviator, The Departed, Shutter Island, Hugo, Wolf of Wall Street, Silence, The Irishman, and then later this year, filmed right here in Oklahoma, Killers of the Flower Moon, which will have a November 2022 release.
If I had to pick something that was not Goodfellas or The Departed, I have talked about it numerous times. I think I'm going to try to find some way to fit it in here this year. It's going to be Raging Bull.
I'm gonna pick Irishman, Shutter Island, and probably Gangs of New York.
Edward.
Hugo's really good too.
Shutter Island definitely was one I love, as well as Departed. That was probably the first Martin Scorsese film that I ever remember, for that matter. Yeah.
All right, guys. We talked about the cast. We talked about the story. Zach, do you remember the first time that you seen Goodfellas? And if so, what was it like revisiting it for the podcast?
To be honest, I think I saw this movie the first time maybe 6 years ago. To be honest, in its entirety. I mean, talk about a movie with, like I said with Scorsese, just a high pedigree of respect and honor and people love. I like the movie. We'll get into it here in a little bit. But on the rewatch, I like it a lot more. So,
Edward, I believe or not, this is your first time with watching the film, correct?
I'd say my first time watching it was about 24 to 48 hours ago, yeah.
Nice. So we'll save your thoughts. Honestly, guys, it may be some shock to hear, but this was my Godfather growing up. This was the first movie that I can remember seeing Robert De Niro. This is the first movie I can remember even seeing Ray Liotta. I didn't know the name of Martin Scorsese, but this was the first gangster film that I watched. It wasn't The Godfather. This movie led me on to watch The Godfather, and then the story's born. But Goodfellas to me is a movie that Mike described it pretty good earlier. You can put it in, and you know what? I kind of have a hard time finding anything negative about it. But Ray Liotta says it right, man, at the beginning of the movie. Ever since I can remember, I've wanted to be a gangster. And you know what? I'm not going to sit here and say that that's what I want to do with my life. But movies like this made it cool. Movies like this made that lifestyle seem like, I could put some suits on, break a few fingers, and count a few bucks. But movies like this, man, to me, The Untouchables, The Godfather, Godfather 2, even Raging Bull, some way in a sense, The Departed, The Irishman, even some movies that some people are like,
Public Enemy.
Public Enemy, Gangster Squad. Some people laugh at that movie, but Scarface, Casino. There's so many movies, and I have them here with me. I can look at them, I can touch them, I can put it in whenever I want to. Some of these movies, man, are just epic to me. And like he says at the beginning of the movie, it makes it cool to be a gangster. And American Me, oof, Blood In, Blood Out. There's so many movies that just speak to you. And ever since I can remember, this is the movie that spoke to me. Goodfellas. Let's talk about it. New York, 1976. You get The Noise in the Trunk. You get the classic, Joe Pesci, Robert De Niro, Ray Liotta. They're all in the car, and you get Joe Pesci just whipping out the knife and stabbing the dude, and then it goes to Ray Liotta's childhood. That point of the movie, you know that something's about to happen. As far as like the story, what happened. Zach, let me in on a little secret. What is it about Goodfellas with you? I feel like we're gonna get an "it's fine."
No, you're not gonna get It's Fine. You're not gonna get
which is fine. If I want everybody's fully 100% full review on this thing. Like this is one of those movies. Let's talk about it. Like Shawshank Redemption, Godfather. Those movies that we've done within the past year. We've done a lot of movies that are considered the GOAT.
Yeah.
This is another one of those movies that some people consider the GOAT.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
This is a film to me that, and like I said, it's not by the end of this review, it's not going to get It's Fine, because it's a truly really good film. I just don't understand like the pedigree of it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I get the performances, I get the cinematography. I really noticed. I thought it was the soundtrack. It just, in the grand scheme of things, I don't understand why this film is highly regarded.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
You feel like maybe it's gotten some of that, at least in your eyes, it's gotten some of that.
Because like anytime you say, what's the top mafia gangster film, it's either this or The Godfather, right?
Correct.
And so when you're putting it up there with The Godfather, that's like, you expect a lot, and
Yeah.
I get it, and knowing I love Martin Scorsese, I was like, okay, let's just see what
I feel like it would be opposite with you, though. I feel like you would love Goodfellas and you would think Godfather's okay. A, because of the length, and B, because of maybe the pacing of Michael Corleone's story. This one is, to me, a little bit much more faster paced
It is, yeah.
of a gangster flick than The Godfather.
The best description is what Francis Ford Coppola was trying to do with Godfather is do a Shakespearean tragedy. This is much more a
Biography.
and this is probably what it's really like in that lifestyle.
And I think,
And that's nothing bad. That's nothing
Right.
against the film.
and I think your biggest argument right now, or at least mine to you, would be that's your first mistake is putting it up against The Godfather.
Yes,
Because even though it's the same genre, they're two completely different flavors.
it's exactly, and I feel like, and I'm probably gonna get hate mail for this. And
You
that's
guys can
fine.
send hate mail
It's fine.
to Edward, Zach, or myself at cinemen921@gmail.com.
And if you guys think I'm wrong, please argue with me. I don't care. I feel like the movie's just a little overrated. The way people talk about it, at least.
I feel like
And that's not the movie's fault. It's just the critical reception of what, since 1990, like you said, this is a 30-year-old movie, and each time people bring it up, it gets better and better.
This is your in full time.
This is like it's my second. This is only my second rewatch of it.
Second full rewatch, and I think that's what probably does you wrong is maybe putting it up against The Godfather.
Honestly, it's kind of that thing, to where some people think, even though Wizard of Oz is one of the probably, in some regards, one of the better movies of all time, especially with age and all that, some people will think that's complete trash compared to like Godfather. Some people are like, why?
Well, that's not even a fair bring up either, because they're way two different kind of categories.
No, but I'm saying like as putting them up there in the category of the best movie of all time kind of thing.
Well, this would be like right. Well, if you're gonna bring up a musical, I'd be like The Sound of Music compared to Wizard of Oz.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying as a film, simply a film. That's the requirement to go against each other, not necessarily like that. I'm saying like. I think that it's just not your taste for that matter. I don't think it's just like, to where like, okay, one of my favorite movies is How High, to where I don't think you will ever probably like that. You know what I mean? And it's not that you are just horrible at liking movies. You're not. You have a distinct taste to where North by Northwest may be your cup of tea, your favorite kind of deal. To where it's not really mine. I'll watch it.
I never thought in a million years that I would hear Goodfellas and How High in the same in the same sentence.
No, I get what you're saying. It's
because I think this is a movie you'll watch.
Yeah,
but it's not going to be the first one out of 100 that you're going to pick.
And and the fact that it's done by Martin Scorsese adds bonus points to it. But is this in my top 5 Martin Scorsese films? No. I mean, truthfully, to be honest.
100%, yeah.
So,
but
but I can respect and acknowledge why this film is praised like it is.
Like the quality of it as well as the artistic side value.
Yes,
of it.
I mean, the cinematography in this rewatch, I thought was brilliant. I mean, the 2 tracking shots when they go into the club is brilliantly well done.
Yeah, because I mean, you're talking about the POV basically.
Yeah, where they get introduced. It doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but we get introduced to all these like different gangsters.
This is Tommy No Nose. That's Fat Tony over there, and that's Michael. And all this.
And even the second tracking shot where Henry and takes Karen like in the back way of in the restaurant, and they're just going through all the different rooms until finally they get to the club scene.
And then he's like, oh, the host or manager or whatever it is like, oh yes, come on,
and bring the table. Yeah,
that's got the table above his head and stuff like that.
That's
sat right there in front of the one-liner dude.
Yeah, and that's expertly well done. Like I didn't even notice that on the first watch.
And that's part of the magic of going back and watching them.
Exactly, and like
simple fact.
And like I said, in 10 years or whenever I rewatch this again, I'll probably like it even more. So
Because I mean,
10 years,
that's
damn.
that's the thing, man. You've got so many different aspects that it's like a Marvel movie. You know, you can catch all the little different Easter eggs, and maybe one that your friend caught, or one that Johnny caught, for that matter, you'll catch next time, or one that you caught, he'll catch next time, or one that Craig didn't even know about, which is probably whatever.
Who?
You know, who?
Who?
Oh, I don't know, that one tall guy that
Well,
Johnny, you said this was your first gangster film or
Yeah.
whatever you watch, and you grew up watching this. What is it to you that you enjoy about it?
I think it's just the mythology of what Henry goes through. Henry growing up and always having to go to school, always having to do what his parents tell him to do, and then he finally finds a gig where he is somebody, and money's not an issue anymore. Getting food or whatever he wants isn't an issue anymore. That to me was in the grand scheme of things was the lore of the movie, and you see it throughout the entire bring up of Henry. He has anything he wants at the snap of his fingers,
Right.
and you see everybody that he comes involved with, and to me that's what led me on to wanting to find and watch more gangster flicks. Okay, I see how Henry was brought up and how Henry got everything he wanted, but at the end of the day, he ended up falling at the feet of his own drum, I guess.
Yeah.
He messed up his life,
Yeah.
and then you got other movies where you have, Tony Montana with Scarface. You see what ended his run, if you will, almost the kind of same drug that ended Henry's run. And then you have Michael on the other hand in The Godfather. So I feel like if you had, and this would make a great topic conversation one day, if you had the four fathers of gangster flicks on your Mount Rushmore, who would you put up there? You got Tony Montana, you got Michael Corleone, you got Henry, you have from The Irishman, you have
John Gotti.
Jimmy Hoffa.
Frank the Irishman. Yeah.
Right, but you have so many different people that you could put up there, or even your top 5 gangster flicks, which I think we've done before. I just think it's a fun world. It's a world that, if it was honestly to arrive at my doorstep at 9 o'clock tonight, I probably would get in the fetal position because I'd be like, this is real. It's all fun in movies, fun and games in the movies.
Yeah, and that's the thing about this movie that I think people enjoy about it. It glamorizes it. It's like you said, by the time Henry is grown, and the great scene is when he gets his cherry popped at being in court, and that he walks out and it's like, hey, you popped a cherry, good job. And it's the fact that you're never gonna be alone in a certain way. Someone's always gonna be there to have your back.
So basically, how this is like when you're a made man, like no one else no other made man is able to touch a made man's family and stuff like that.
And that's important because that comes back later.
Yeah, no, this is real.
No.
What I mean?
In the plot wise,
well, yeah, 100%. This is I
know,
a real,
I know, yeah,
world thing. So I mean, like, if you do, then I mean, like, there's differences apparently between like an American mafia or mafioso or anything like that, and an Italian mafioso. Apparently, this is just by some of the Michael Fascisi interview I watched. Apparently, the Italian ones over in Italy will go after any and everybody you know. Apparently, in America, you are target. Not your sister, not your dad, and your mom, unless they get involved heavily and they start messing with, then it's open target on them. But before that, it's just you.
Well, and the other thing is that it
kind of like in John Wick, for that matter. They weren't going after. Yeah, it was basically your target. You messed up. It's yourself. It's your head.
Well, and the thing that's interesting is that we know from the beginning Henry Hill is not going to be quote unquote made because he's not Italian. You have to be fully, from what I understand, you have to be full Italian in order to get like that status.
Not necessarily. Supposedly in the real ones, you have to at least be proposed by someone who is actually there. So literally, even though
in the movie,
Well, yeah. In the movie, yeah, but supposedly,
But it is based off of his real life.
and that's the thing. Supposedly, in real life, it's not whether you have to be Italian, full 100% or whatever. It's even if you are 100%, you can't just go up to the Don and be like, or the boss and be like, "Hey, I want to be a made man. Like, what's up?" You could
And
possibly
let's
get
talk
killed
about that for a minute, because throughout the movie you keep hearing that term "made," and then it comes, intuition at the end of the movie, closer to the end, that one Tommy DeVito is going to get made. He gets the looks, he gets the grabbings. Before we get deeper into the conversation, let's talk about Joe Pesci, because in this movie, in some of these scenes, you remember how great of a just purebred actor this guy is, performer, that Joe Pesci is.
Thoroughbred.
Zach, I want to start with you, because Ed's over here talking about damn horses. What's the first movie that you remember seeing Joe Pesci in at all? Just think. You don't even have to. Don't look at his filmography. Just Joe Pesci. You're
It's
like
probably this one, and then I know I probably the Lethal Weapon films, and probably The Irishman. I mean, truthfully,
first movies.
yeah.
Man, I'm gonna have to go back and say Home Alone 2, Lost in New York.
It would be one of the Home Alones that I would recognize him from. 'Cause before that, I don't know, but that would be one I recognize him from.
Yeah, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, Lethal Weapon 4. He was phenomenal in Lethal Weapon 2.
Yeah.
I think he just, and again, he plays that little mob scumbag in the Lethal Weapon movies.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even say he's typecasted.
No, but he does know that role because he knows
for
people
sure.
in that.
I think Ray Liotta is more typecasted than Joe Pesci.
For sure.
Because Ray Liotta, anytime you really see that actor, he's always kind of playing the same character type. The tough, whether it be a corrupt cop or a mob guy or just a guy that you don't like.
It's kind of like Mickey Rourke. They both have that kind of look about them that, you may not want to mess with that guy. You don't even know his name.
Right.
He could be from friggin', the softest town in America, but, he just looks like...
dangerous.
Yeah, he's going to stab me before I even look at him weird.
And looking at the Oscar nominations for this film, I mean, Joe Pesci did win Best Supporting Actor, but it was also nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Supporting Actress for Lorraine Bracco, who plays Karen, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best Film Editing.
Dude, how perfect. I don't remember hearing that name, the actress who played Karen, but how spot on was Karen.
Yeah.
She made you kind of like, from the moment she met Henry all the way up
Which is a great date scene.
Great date scene, because she's like, "What do you do?" And he's like, "I'm construction." And he's giving everybody 20s, and because they go to the Casablanca, right?
Coca-Bana.
Okay.
Yeah. Casablanca.
But I mean, she plays, if I'm not mistaken,
she plays the therapist in The Sopranos.
Well, no, if I'm not mistaken, her character is based off of Henry Hill's wife, Camille Garcia.
Right.
Correct.
So,
this whole movie is based off of Henry.
Well, yes. But I'm just saying, like...
But they had to change the name. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, it's stuff like that is kind of just alluring that, this whole entire movie, like, they name drop a lot of real people, or at least semi-real people,
right.
Maybe the nicknames ain't the same, but they name drop those people so much and so accurately that it's not even funny.
It is. Because Robert De Niro's character,
Jimmy Conway.
Jimmy, one of the first few lines out of his mouth is, never rat.
Don't rat, don't talk. You'll be fine.
And you'll be just fine, exactly.
Out of the trio, who do you guys like more? I like Jimmy.
Oh, dude.
I like Jimmy Conway. I like De Niro. De Niro in this film, he's much more of...
He's calm.
He's calm, but more calculated.
Yeah.
So apparently the actual Jimmy was not calm at all. Like his temper. He was
Joe Pesci in this film.
Like apparently,
but in the movie, who would you pick out of the three?
Out of actor wise,
or just your favorite character in the movie is what he's saying.
I mean, honestly, Pesci. Like
Tommy.
Tommy, Joe Pesci, whatever you want. Yeah, it just.
What about you? Did you
Yeah.
say you said De Niro?
Jimmy, yeah.
It probably would go Pesci.
I would
then
probably have to say Henry. I think Ray Liotta played him very very well. I liked how he narrated his own life and how he narrated the story.
Mhm.
Was
it jarring for Karen to start commenting through the film?
No. I enjoyed it because you got to hear her point of view from, the moment that when she said that her neighbor, did things and threw out of the car.
Mhm.
Henry goes and he's her knight in shining armor. He takes the butt end of his gun, pistol whips him, and you know what? I always like scenes like that where the gangster or the guy he's got his hair slicked back, he looks really nice, and then one person makes him mad, and he has to scuffle up somebody, and the hair gets a little messy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't, dude. You made him mess up his hair. It's over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just like how Liotta can turn it on and off just like that. Not saying that De Niro and Pesci can't do the same because they can, and honestly they can do it a little bit better, but. If you guys are going to pick 1A and 1B, I'll pick 1C. Just because I think you can go that way in this movie.
Yeah.
You could almost watch this movie 3 different times in 3 different point of views.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you would walk out with a different viewing every single time.
Right. And I think the reason why I picked Jimmy was whether or not, I don't know whether or not he was, and the real Jimmy was a lot hotter or whatever. But in this version, he's much more calm, calculated. He knows what he wants. But by the end of it, after all hell's broke loose, there's a great line that says, "Paranoia leads to death." And so by the time, we really don't know what happens to Jimmy. Well, we do in the title cards, but we don't really know what happens to Jimmy after Henry goes into protective custody. But by the end of it, Jimmy's willing to kill Henry just to save himself.
Because he's a rat.
Yeah, but not only that.
Even before that.
Yeah, it was before the fact. You know what? He started to get paranoid, though, because of the money.
Yeah.
Using the money for the coke. He was told not to get into that business, and he did anyway.
Yeah. And when everyone starts coming in with their fancy cars, it's like, what are you doing? Why are you trying to bring attention to us? It's not even that, just bringing attention to us. Take the car back, take the fur coat back, and just lay low. And it's at that point where it's just, he goes off the rails. Because there's a great scene where he basically, it's up for interpretation, but he almost leads Karen to her death. He says, just go down there. I got something for you. Just go on down there. And she never does, and it's just real sketchy and everything, and so she backs off and leaves. So whether or not there really was a gift or he was going to kill her, who knows?
I say there was a gift. A gift.
But we'll never know.
What'd you guys think of Paul Sorvino, who plays Paul, the head guy?
Man, he just looks it. You know what I mean?
And he's been in so many great films.
And don't wrong. So more than likely every family, as you want to call it, has one of those huge dudes, one of those massive guys that just is maybe not the most intimidating guy, but literally is probably the guy that it's just like he doesn't have to do much, and
he's still alive, actually.
But you've got so many dudes that, it's incredible in this story. Really
Speaking of this story, the guy who you think he's going to get it from the moment you see him, you're like, oh, he's about to die, but they save him and he continues somehow to live. What do you guys think about Morris?
Was that the
guy, the wig guy?
Yeah. Well, he does get it. But
it's brutal.
But even to an audience standpoint, I can understand, just get rid of this guy, please. Even as an audience member, he was annoying. And then when he gets the ice pick to the back of the neck, it's just like, okay, good, finally.
The scene where Joe Pesci is talking to the guy who just gets out of prison, and he keeps calling him the shoe shiner.
Oh, Billy Batts. Yeah. And that is the twist of, it goes back to the original film of that's the guy in the trunk. And that ultimately I think is the demise for these three characters, because everything was going fine until that, and then they get into the coke business, and then quote unquote Tommy gets made, because like you said, Ed, in this world, you don't kill a made person, a made boss or whatever.
Yep.
So
like you have to go to the boss
to get permission
to go ahead and do any kind of like homicide, basically.
I will say it didn't do me justice because about a month ago I watched Casino, and they kind of.
There's a lot of people that say this Casino's a spiritual sequel to Goodfellas.
Really?
Yeah. I don't really see it, but I remember liking Casino.
I don't believe that either. But yeah, Casino's a damn good movie. An hour longer, but yeah. Digging up the body where they have to go back, and Ray Liotta's just
puking it up.
Yeah. What do you think going through the movie about the do you like how it just sporadically went through, 4 years later throughout the movie, and it really doesn't pick up like that until you see Henry dive deep into the coke business.
Yeah.
And that was kind of his downfall.
Yeah, I mean I think you kind of get the point of it. It's just his life is just slowly just come unraveling, undone, especially with Karen, who by that point, they have kids, but he has like 3 side pieces on the side, and it just, it just progressively gets worse for him. And what did you guys think of the scene of the
feed him to the lions?
That was a great scene. But the quote unquote, is this real or am I being paranoid with the helicopter? And it's like a whole entire day of him just kind of losing his mind, but we don't know as an audience, is that real or is that drug induced?
Oh, because he's going to 2 different houses, he's cooking, he's like, hey, don't mess up the sauce.
Yeah.
He goes and picks up his brother.
Yeah.
Who his brother is from what main TV show was he on? Grounded for Life.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that show. He's also one of the hitmen in Pineapple Express. But what did you? I mean, yeah, I thought it was a pretty fun scene and a pretty fun sequence. Because at that point, I am like you said, is he paranoid? Is it the coke? But I think, man, it's funny how the movie gets better, but I feel like Henry just goes deep after he just starts getting the coke business, and De Niro's character Tommy, right?
Yep.
Tells him, kind of almost don't get high on your own supply.
And I mean, essentially, yeah, because I mean, that's not even just that, but that's so many other like gangster flicks, so many other like gangbanger flicks, or even that's a huge thing right there.
I wanted to mention him because he's only in it for a cup of coffee, but Sam Jackson.
Yeah.
Did you guys remember that he was in there? Or Ed, this was your first watch. What did you think? Were you like, hey, is that Sam Jackson?
Yeah, it caught me off guard a little bit because I didn't expect to see someone like him in this. And it's almost weird because you don't really think about that. Not necessarily that actor, but I mean, like, I didn't think I'd see someone like
Sam Jackson,
Samuel L. Jackson just pop up.
Or another great scene that Mike brought up earlier was the scene where
Spider.
Not Spider, but I'm going blank. I'm sorry. Joe Pesci's character. Joe Pesci's character's name. Tommy.
Tommy.
Sorry.
That's what I was just like.
Tommy is goes to his mom's to get the shovel.
Oh yeah.
And she's like,
why can't you settle down? Find a nice girl.
Sit here and have dinner. You look thin.
That he was right. That was Martin Scorsese's mother, and then the gangster that's cooking in jail, that's his dad. So.
And then Joe Pesci's like, hey, can I borrow your knife? Can I borrow this knife?
I'll bring it back.
Next time you might think differently about going to someone else's house and seeing them use a big butcher knife to cook something, cut something up. What if they use that knife to
fillet something else?
Do you think that people, when they watch this movie now, well, I mean, Ed, this is your first time watch, so
yeah.
Ed popped this cherry.
Do you think Do you think there's some people that think that Joe Pesci's over the top in this?
Maybe
even
maybe not.
though he won the Oscar for supporting actor.
I mean, personally, I didn't. There probably are some people out there that are like, man, this guy, there's no way that life can be like this, But I mean, don't get me wrong, like,
yeah, I would agree. I think there's a lot of people out there who are like, who probably would think, oh, the movie's okay, but I have a problem with his character.
Yeah.
Because they think that he's going to be the one to ultimately cause everybody's demise.
Yeah.
Because of how hot-headed he is.
Yeah.
And he proves, I mean, Mike brought it up again, the scene where he shoots the guy in the foot for not going and getting him his drink fast enough.
Spider.
Yeah.
Another Sopranos alum.
Yeah. Great scene.
Mm-hmm.
Or, then you've got, of course, the iconic scene, Am I a Clown to You? Messing with Henry, for that matter. So, I mean, it kind of shows just like you said earlier, turned it on / off, for that matter. And you've got Ray Liotta over there looking just like, well, nah, man, it's the story, like how you told it. Yeah, but how am I funny to you? Like,
and I think the good thing about the improv of Joe Pesci is the improv was Joe Pesci's real life persona turned all the way up to 10.
Yeah.
I think that is what
exaggerated
makes
him.
That's what makes a really fantastic actor. And you guys don't even have to go back and watch the full 2 hour and 20-minute movie. Go back and just Google or YouTube clips of Goodfellas, and you'll see some of the great lines or the great acting or the improv of Joe Pesci. Like, I really do think that this guy deserves a lot more credit than he probably does get in Hollywood.
Or if you just go search best Joe Pesci scenes or something like that, YouTube might have 5 or 6 scenes
but we're
from
talking,
this movie alone.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, it'll be a host of stuff from this movie alone that'll be in that lineup.
Right. But save yourself some time and just go look up some Goodfellas scenes, because if you Google Joe Pesci, there's going to be like 15, 20, 30 minutes of all different kind of randomness that you don't want
right now. Be an hour and a half, okay? Look.
Yeah. Another thing, he went out of retirement to go and do The Irishman.
Yep.
With Martin Scorsese. That shows you what kind of a director Scorsese is.
Kind of respect.
And he didn't even want to do it, and De Niro kind of convinced him to come out of retirement to do it.
Yeah.
So,
real good stuff. Man, this just makes me want to talk more Joe Pesci, and I think he is. A lot of people, thoughts and prayers. He just passed away recently. A lot of people are like, man, that's Ray Liotta's coming out party, and it was.
He had Field of Dreams before this, but this was like skyrocket.
Yeah. And you know what? Being that young of an actor, doing a Scorsese picture, being surrounded by De Niro and Pesci, how lucky was he to just get kicked off that way? You imagine how much, I mean, probably the butterflies in the stomach, the size of eagles, going on set and seeing Pesci and De Niro do their thing, and he's getting ready to not just follow that, but to go in there and counteract and work with them.
Yeah.
Going toe to toe. I mean,
that's and for him to stand alone.
Yeah.
Like not stand up against, but just able to hold his own in those scenes with them. I mean, like the whole scene of, Am I a Clown to You? Yeah. I mean, that's legitimate acting. That's not even acting. That's like, I think that's a real reaction.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, don't wrong. Time and time again, it proves that those reactions, or those actions for that matter, have some of the best takeaways.
Yeah.
I mean, for that matter, when the kids see Pennywise for the first time, that's a great takeaway.
Reaction.
Yeah, and I mean that's it's awesome that some directors keep stuff like that, or keep rolling whenever stuff like that happens. That's not planned. That's not literally. It's just I'm going to use a word that I don't think we've used in a long time, Johnny. Organic material, right there.
Another great example. Awesome. Another great example is in Django, when Leo cuts his arm on the cuts his hand on the glass.
Oh yeah,
they just keep filming.
Or Viggo Mortensen, or Lord of the Rings, when he kicks the
Orkai helmet.
Yeah,
and it breaks his toe.
But keeps going. I mean, it's just simple stuff like that. That whether it's an injury, whether it's just a surprise reaction that I didn't know this was going on, kind of thing. even in Stranger Things, for that matter, season 3, there's been some stuff that Millie Bobby Brown was exhausted and fell into Finn Wolfhard's arms and just collapsed in him. When he looked over to the right, he was looking to the director for direction, and it was just like, keep going, basically. And he's like, okay. But I mean, even stuff like that, whether or a TV series or a film, is always an awesome kind of thing when they keep it, just because like they seem like, man, I had this, but this right here is
But yeah, I mean, no, this whole ordeal was to honor the character played by the actor Ray Liotta. So again, that's what this episode was all about. So a big shout out to him and his family. Ray Liotta, born December 18th, 1954, passed away May 26th, 2020, at the age of 67.
Wait, 2022.
2022. So go check this movie out. HBO Max it up, man. The trailer is fun. The characters. Yeah, I think that this movie, for some reason, I agree with you, Zach. I do think it's shadowed behind stuff like Godfather, but I don't think it's fair, honestly, to hold up both movies and compare the two. I think they're miles apart of two different stories and two different lifestyles, and
But I think this movie holds itself against Godfather. Like, it's able to do that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. Right quick before we name some favorite scenes, what you guys think of the ending? Zach, you said that this might be your No Country for Old Men episode. Did you not like the ending? How he goes into the witness protection? The wife is like, you don't need me. You don't need me to go in. But
I like the ending because it represents, I think, Henry Hill's. Am I saying that right? Henry Hill, his fear of just a normal existence. Like they said, they were movie stars. They could have anything at the snap of their fingers. They were to be reckoned with. But now he's just a regular civilian in suburban America.
A
schmuck. I think that's honestly a worse fate than death.
Yeah, he makes it seem that way. Yeah, he's like, the food's terrible. I have to wait in lines. I got to go get the newspaper.
Yeah.
And it sounds like he's living his own personal hell.
Yeah, I think it's a powerful ending, to be honest.
What did you get? And I'm so sorry, I forgot you were here. What did you think about the ending? Did you like it? The witness protection and what the lore meant of him kind of living in his own personal hell.
I mean, sometimes when you bite off more than you can chew, it is what it is. When you ain't in, don't wrong. When you ain't in the lifestyle to be in that lifestyle because of it, sometimes you get just desserts. And don't wrong, he was on top and he fell very hard. So yeah, no, going into witness protection is one of the few ways you do get out sometimes, and not many people do get out, whether witness protection or not. So yeah, it kind of was the only choice for him. So
what did you guys think of the final shot? What was the whole point that you think of him looking out into the blur and you see Joe Pesci's character shooting the gun one last time? Do you guys think that meant anything?
I think it was a metaphor of
someone's always
you always got to live in fear of, you always got to be, whether you're in the grocery store or in the bank, just kind of look behind, just make sure just make sure that someone is not about to take you out, basically. You're the rat in this situation, and so you deserve death.
Rats get whacked is what it's all about. No, honestly, yeah, being real. Like I just said, when you live that life and you're not about that life, like, you have to go ahead and have, 10 eyes behind your back, basically. And even then, sometimes you don't get away. So for him to actually live for years after that, that's an incredible thing. Maybe not what he wanted, but it's an incredible thing.
Right?
It back in 2000, so 22 years, significant. and selected for preservation in the National Film Registry by the United States Library of Congress, which means there will always be a copy of this film.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think is he still alive?
Who?
Henry Hill.
No, he died in 2012.
Oh, okay.
You guys can get at CDR Electronics, DVD, Blu-ray. Check out the 4K. It just celebrated its 30th anniversary 2 years ago, and it released a fabulous 4K copy. I highly recommend it. There's 2 different commentaries, cast and crew. There's new special features, The Workday of a Gangster. Paper is cheaper than film. Scorsese's Goodfellas getting made. And then The Made Men, the legacy of the Goodfellas documentary. Highly recommend the 4K. It looks beautiful. It's a dark film, so the dark is not grainy. Perfect transfer. Like Zach said, there's always going to be a copy of this movie. But you know what? If hard copy is not your thing, and you don't want to go get you that slick black 4K disc,
HBO Max it up.
HBO Max it up. It's on there. It's Warner Brothers. It's going to be on there probably till the end of time. So go check it out. And they have, I believe, one of you guys checked it on HBO Max, right?
Yeah, I did.
Good Both transfer. You guys? Good transfer. So, yeah. And I'm sure it's a 1080p or probably HDR transfer.
Probably 1080 or matching whatever your TV goes.
And I'm sure, now that we've done the episode, they'll take it off HBO Max because that's that's our curse.
That used to be the curse with Netflix, but HBO Max has been there through thick and thin.
Yeah,
somebody, we got connections now, guys. We are made men. No, I'm just messing with you. But somebody has to hashtag some HBO Max it up for us. I even have a term for them. They could put it on a t-shirt. They could put it on a coffee mug.
We need to put that on the t-shirt.
HBO Max it up. That could be the ad for their next camp. That could be the campaign for their next hashtag Max HBO Max it up.
And we get sued for the t-shirt.
Copyright.
We make the HBO look different. Though.
They got that new Game of Thrones show coming up, so that's their chance to do it.
But no, for real, go check this movie out. I love gangster flicks, and if we did you guys justice last week with Top Gun Maverick, see if we can do it back-to-back weeks and go check out Goodfellas. Zach, you got a favorite scene?
I'd say the popping the cherry in the courtroom scene is a really good.
You would like that scene.
Like Welcome to the Club sequence, and then the tracking shots. The cinematography in this movie really is really well done for the time. And then the killing of
a sacred deer.
Yeah, the killing of Billy Batts. That even where he's talking to Pesci about shining his shoes and everything. It's just like he's just digging in. Yeah.
I said it last week, and I also said it the week before with Glory because of some of the steel shots. This week is the same. The director of photography in this movie, dealing with De Niro, Pesci, Ray Liotta. Could you imagine, again, the director of photography telling them to, hey, can you do that scene over again so I can take another shot? People kind of forget about that kind of stuff. You have people taking pictures of your scenes. And, again, there's some amazing still shots in this movie. Look them up online. Goodfellas, images, Google it up, and they're all there. So, again, I got to shed a little bit of light on the director of photography. For that example, the cinematography wide shots are amazing. I would have to say my favorite scenes are going to be Tommy's death is a fun scene. Henry getting upset about Karen getting thrown out the vehicle, and he goes and pistol whips the neighbor. The first date. Who doesn't like a first date? You know what I mean? Going to the club, handing out 20s to everybody. When they're like, hey, this guy means business, and they try to feed him to the lions, come to find out his sister works for the FBI. The Christmas party scene. And then you know what? Every single shot that Joe Pesci's in, can we please give that guy some limelight? Joe Pesci, Goodfellas, knocked it out of the park. Ed?
I would go ahead and have to say just one. The go your mom thing.
Of course.
The whole scene right there. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it's just not really just because of that, but it's
because of the F word. You're a child.
You know what? No, I'm just kidding. I would have to say the improvisation and just the spontaneous reactions of everybody was just amazing. That's one of my favorites, just because after I learned that, I was just like, this is hands down like one of the best scenes here, just because of that. So yeah, just simple Uno. If I did have to pick a second, though, the tracking shot, I thought that was really cool. When you meet everybody, that was just a really, really cool thing, just because you get kind of, it sinks in your mind who most of these, if not all of these guys are, as well as, it feels like you're in there. Well, like Mike said, you hear different conversations, kind of like you're in a room for that matter, or like you're in that place, and it just kind of takes you there, and it kind of gives you that little insight into what maybe he or that person, her, whatever have you, is thinking, doing, or listening to, for that matter. So I think that would probably be a second if I had to choose one.
Favorite scene, or we already talked favorite scenes.
Oh,
Ed, kick us off. Star rating.
I'm gonna go with Diaz 10.
Zach.
5. Just kidding, guys. Just kidding. Give it.
I'll give it a 9. I'll give it a 9.
It's nice. That's high. It's high. Ed's over here mocking, but a 9 is a high score. And I could see somebody be like, it's not The Godfather. I'm gonna give it like a 7. That's what I thought you were ultimately gonna go with. But a 9 is super high. And you know what? You could I bet you're taking the point off for probably the rewatchability. Like, this isn't something you're gonna grab and be like, well, I want to watch it next week.
Yeah.
I'm the opposite. I'm gonna go with a 10. This is something that I just it's the movie for me besides Godfather. At least when it comes to gangster flicks. If Godfather was 1A, this would be 1B. The performances, the chemistry between all three gentlemen, the characters, the acting, cinematography, the score, the soundtrack, the 50s and 60s music, and then the directing. You can really tell what kind of movie is directed by a GOAT. And when you have Martin Scorsese at the helm, it's kind of hard not to give it
the praise it deserves.
The praise. So 10 stars. Let us hear your rating. Go check it out. Go watch it on HBO Max. Do yourself a favor. Even if you're not into gangster films, I think it should be watched at least once in your lifetime. And then let us know what you thought about it. Give us your star rating. Go send us an email, cinemen921@gmail.com. Send us in the social media messages, Instagram, Facebook, the Twitter, and we will read it on the next episode.
Mail time.
Ooh, the mail's here. That means we get to see our old friend, Mailbox.
We got to see our friend Lunchbox today. Ain't that right, Ed?
Yeah.
No, I'm just teasing. Send us in some mail, and we will read it aloud every single Monday. We may not, put our entire fist into the mailbag, but we will read a few emails every week. Jeffrey says Jurassic World is okay. Feels overwhelming and too long. Kind of a fake feeling. 5 stars. A wasted watch. Zach, that's the email that I brought up to Nick and you guys on last Thursday of the bonus episode.
Yeah.
We kind of talked about that email already. Again, I want to disagree a little bit. It feels fake. You're watching a dinosaur movie. It's a popcorn action movie. I mean, come on. Yuri says Goodfellas is my all-time favorite movie. 10 stars. Sean says Goodfellas is Martin Scorsese's best film, not even a competition. 10 stars.
Yep. I'm gonna get some email next week. You watch.
Rachel says I first watched Goodfellas when I was around 15 years old. It was on DVD, and you had to turn the disc over right after Tommy shoots Spider. I've always been fascinated with the 50s, 60s, and 70s, so this movie immediately became hands down my favorite movie of all time. It's still my favorite to this day. just to get a little nosedive into how the mob was back in those days is pretty awesome to me, though others may think differently. Goodfellas is a comfort film for me, 10 out of 10, most definitely. Not only is the movie great, but the songs are just as great. Always remember, never rat on your friends and keep your mouth shut.
Very good email.
But who are your actual friends?
Great response. I loved it. Adam says Top Gun Maverick was a great watch. Seen it 4 times since its release, and it's so good. 10 stars. Kelvin says went and seen Top Gun, and wow, what a movie! An absolute joy from start to end. Loved the episode. Lawrence says I don't think Jurassic Park 3 was as bad as some of you make it out to be. It is the worst film, but it's still an action-packed popcorn flick. 7 stars. James says Goodfellas is a classic. 10 stars. Can't wait to hear this review. Omar says 10 stars for Goodfellas. Sam G69, my top 5 theater snacks. Number 5, Twizzlers. Number 4, any kind of soda. Number 3, moon cheese. Number 2, popcorn. And number 1, Bunch of Crunch.
Hey, Bunch of Crunch.
So yeah, I think I'm going to leave emails at that for now. We had a kind of a longer episode this week. Again, I want to thank everybody who downloaded the Top Gun episode. The numbers are phenomenal. I never would have thought, honestly, in my 4 years of doing this, that I would have seen numbers like that without putting a lot of money into kind of like billboards or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say thank you to everybody who was involved. Zach, Craig, Ed, everybody listening, everybody who downloaded, everybody who shared some stuff over the last 4 years. I honestly want to say thank you. That's a like, a share, a comment means the world to me. And for you to sit there and take even 5 seconds out of your time and say a 10, just a 10 and the star. That's all. Like that to me makes a big difference. A share, a real quick share. You don't even have to say anything about what you're sharing, just one share. All that stuff has everything to do with the success that we've grabbed. And I want to say thank you to everybody involved.
Is this number 200?
And Edward's mic is getting turned off because he doesn't even know what episode number we're on right now. No, this is episode 196. We are just a few weeks away, Edward, from the episode 200. And that episode is on July 4th. Monday, July 4th, episode 200. And we're talking Independence Day. So it's everything is ironic. Number 200 matching up on the 4th of July. It's just fun.
Promotion value.
Yeah, it's just real fun. But other than that, guys, next week, episode 197, Jurassic World Dominion. Zach, this Thursday, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Are you excited about next Monday?
I am.
And what week is getting ready to happen?
I am. We're doing 2 dinosaur movies back to back, Fallen Kingdom and Dominion, and we will be done with. We talked all the Jurassic Worlds, all the Jurassic Parks.
Right. Edward, are you excited for next Monday? You gonna join us?
Yeah, I'm gonna be here. Well, work allowing, I'm gonna be here.
He's like that stepfather that just promises every.
Wow.
Oh, bro! Oh my god!
Yeah, I'll be there.
Like
Henry gets it in this movie too, though. He's like, "Dad, you gonna be there for my showings?"
Wow.
No, I'm just teasing you.
Dark. No, you're not. You're salty, bro.
New nickname for Ed, the stepdad.
Hey, well, we got Zacchaeus now, so Zach, that's your permanent name. That's gonna go in a coffee mug.
What?
Zacchaeus.
I'll go ahead and shave down to a Fu Manchu if you want.
Ejias.
For the stepdad look. Hey.
There we go.
That's my.
But no, next week, guys, Jurassic World Dominion. I'm excited. We go back to the theater. Hopefully, it's as good as Top Gun Maverick was. Theater experience. Zach, do you have anything else you want to say before we head out?
No. Like I agree. I think Goodfellas is a required viewing at least once, just to see what it was like. And then, we'll see you next week for the epic conclusion of Jurassic World.
Ed, you excited next week, Jurassic World Dominion?
Yeah, man. I mean, always a good thing to view a new movie and all that good stuff to see what is going on in film these days. So yeah, this is Ed saying I'll see you on the silver screen.
And don't forget next week, guys, not only is it Jurassic World Dominion, but Andrew from CDR Electronics is joining us on our part 2 series of Pardon My Pandemic. So next week, right here on the Cine-Men Movie Podcast, you guys have a good week, and we'll talk to you next week.
Team here, nigga, started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now my whole team here, nigga.